Crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. You just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
All right, the crossover is powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. The two anthem singers, or the seventh inning stretch singers from yesterday are in studio today.
Well done, Josh. Well done.
Thank you.
Got to turn my mic on. Well done, Josh.
Thank you.
And on short notice, too. I sprung it on him.
Labor of love.
I said, Josh, you're going to do this. And he said, okay. Josh is always down to clown.
Stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
Put that on a t-shirt.
You do seem like a guy's down to clown.
That is a good
down to
poll
clown.
question.
Yeah.
Are you down to clown?
He is down to clown.
Josh Hodson down to clown.
Is Josh down to clown?
Yeah. We'll put that up there. My wife will.
Where'd that one come from?
What's that one all about, honey?
When you got to the Buy Me Some Peanuts, did you, I don't know if you've seen the Matt Nagy rendition when he was the head coach for the Bears?
Now that you mention it, yes, I have.
I would think anybody now, if they've heard that, they always try to really emphasize when they say peanuts.
Peanuts.
And the fact that you hate Cracker Jacks. Did you skip over it?
No, those are the lyrics of the song.
You say buy me some peanuts and those other things?
And those other things.
And the fiddle faddle.
Josh was a couple beats behind.
I was. Couldn't quite catch up.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh.
You know what? Some of the great seventh inning stretch singers of all time have had the same issue as guy by the name of Harry Carey. So you're in good company.
Yeah, but he was hammered.
Yeah,
Josh had no excuse.
I figured if, I wasn't the best singer, so nobody was like, "Oh, this guy's bad."
The national anthem comes in with you got to have some vocal chops.
Yeah. He's clearly having fun with this. He's not trying.
Seventh inning stretches for good timers.
He's aloof.
Yeah. You don't want someone who's trying to belt out like really solid keys during the seventh inning stretch. It's for good timers.
It's all for good timers. Like if you're still at this baseball game, we're going to reward you with a little goofiness.
Yeah, good timers.
If you're at a day game in the seventh inning that's 8-0.
I don't know. Well, I was actually impressed. I ran into you at High V because that meant the game moved pretty quickly.
About 2:15, 2:20-ish.
2:24.
Yeah. I usually get out of there after the middle of the 8th.
The fact that you were coming out of the grocery store too, I was like, damn, that thing must have moved.
I had a plan yesterday. Yeah. I bought some my last Costco trip. They have brisket strips, like pre-made brisket strips.
Those are good. I've had them.
I tried their burn ends one time. They weren't so good, but the brisket strips ended up being pretty good. So I got some buns, a little slaw, and some cheese and some onion rings. Yeah. I made my own little Z-Man. Nice. It was good last night.
That's
what I was doing about 20 minutes after I saw you.
Yeah, nice.
A little race at the grocery store. What were you guys going for? Chips and dip.
What the hell we were out of milk. And he's still got a little bit of the childhood asthma, so he had to get his inhaler. And then he was out of daycare yesterday because they just up and closed yesterday. So
that happens.
Totally normal.
That was cool.
Reese handshake Dante Dowdell.
That's right. Yeah,
that was a low key.
He's a little anxious,
Yeah, that quote was amazing. He goes. He just
gave me a great visual.
Dowdell, he's just an asthmatic, anxious kid.
Trying to see him on the side, like just all twitchy.
Matt, can you say that?
So we got to give him a break every once in a while.
Are there HIPAA laws? Is that a HIPAA violation? I don't know.
Nobody knew that until Saturday night.
But
Rule got going, and he was cooking.
Do you guys, when you run into somebody at the grocery store, examine their cart?
Oh yeah.
You gotta say, hey, what do we got going on
usually.
Here?
Yeah, I ran into a person that I know at the High V on 90th and Center, and I was like, "Oh,
terrible
cat lady."
Parking lot.
She had multiple things for her cat, and that was the only thing in her grocery cart.
We're not talking about cats today and what they do with cats.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Well, make sure you have a concept of a plan before you avoid that topic, because you don't want to get in trouble.
I had no idea that was happening in our part of our country.
So Nick and I were talking. We were all watching. We were all watching Nebraska Creighton volleyball.
Yeah, seriously.
But on your timeline, you had
what's going on?
But what if you took the tweets that were about the debate and turned them into what was going on in the volleyball match?
And then John Cook is a psychopath.
If only Creighton's mascot was some sort of a cat.
Well, see, I thought
look at what they've done to our cats.
I said, oh my God, John Baylor said Creighton's comeback. They are eating pets.
Yeah. You could have mentioned rally and attendance all in the same, because that was also a big part of it. You could talk about the rally in the volleyball game and the attendance at the game, because that also became a hot button topic.
If you were tweeting the game last night, that's how you should have done it. Yep. You know, what a rally.
What a rally. By the way, tonight's attendance.
Attendance.
So, people that, follow you that are not from around here and don't know that there was a bigger thing going on in Lincoln last night. And you tweeted something out, they would respond. So I said, how about we do this? I don't know. How about we do this again in December? And somebody immediately was like, it's November.
The election's in November, sir.
And so I didn't have the bandwidth to say, I'm talking about something completely different. But there would be people that would respond. I noticed would respond to Nebraska Creighton fan tweets, and they wouldn't get it that there was something going on.
I saw the idea thrown out there last night that this happens just about every year now, that they should play two, one in Omaha, one in Lincoln. They got to do it I want them to play at the.
What are you,
Sokol.
Tony Baroni and Danny?
I do think it'd be cool if they played at Sokol.
It would be amazing.
If Creighton's home game was at Sokol and not the Chai.
And people were like, well, they would just be Nebraska. No, it wouldn't be, because it's all season tickets in there for Creighton season ticket holders.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be when you walk into that place before a Creighton volleyball game, it must be 52 degrees. It's so cold, because they know it's going to get exponentially hot. And then by the end, you're sweating. Yeah. You're like, it gets so hot.
That's good that they do that, though.
It's bad at first, because you're very cold. But then
I wonder if Nebraska would ever agree to that. I'm going to say probably not. But it would be a banger of an app.
Well, they're scheduled to have the home, they get the match at home next year, but obviously they'll put it at the big arena.
Because financially.
Yeah.
But that allows more Nebraska fans to buy tickets.
Yep. And you want Creighton to get their home field, their home court advantage one time.
That's why they don't play UConn women's basketball at the big.
Yeah, you don't want to give up that advantage.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't think, you play Nebraska Creighton volleyball at the Chai, you're going to sell it out. I don't know that Creighton UConn women's basketball would sell out the Chai.
I don't think so.
It'd be well attended, but because
you would get 11,000.
You could do some marketing for it.
What does Sokol hold?
Like 3.
Yeah, I would say probably 10.
Okay,
you probably get 10 for UConn.
So
Creighton.
Here's a dilemma this year. As of right now, Nebraska Creighton Day is November 22nd, and the men and women are going to play at the Chai.
That's the idea. Yes.
See, I still think
we don't have that. We don't know that for sure.
Don't take out women's basketball. Make Nebraska come into Sokol and play.
Yep.
Yeah. And they do that, and it's all Creighton fans anyway. Like last time Nebraska played here 2 years ago in Omaha, it was at the Sokol, and they've never played that matchup at the big arena before. But if you're doing a doubleheader, then
But how would that? But they couldn't do like a true doubleheader, because Creighton, Nebraska will be sold out basically with season tickets.
Right.
It'd
be a split entry.
You'd have to
clear it.
You'd have to have the women's basketball fans. All right, when the game is over, go find an empty seat. Give it,
No, you can't do that, because it would have to be like a College World Series style. You'd have to do it. Yeah. You'd have to clear it for sure.
Yeah. I would never want to see. I don't think they'd ever do it, but I'd never want to see UConn Creighton women's basketball anything other than Sokol.
It's a great home court environment.
I would never want to see that.
How about and again, this is a lot of financial, so this is never going to happen, but play along. Creighton men playing one of their bye games at Sokol.
Like a retro.
Like the exhibition game. When they play Wayne State or somebody.
Nebraska men have not gotten back to the Devaney, have they?
No.
Well, you can't now because of all the lines on the court too.
Yeah.
If that's the only court
they have to
with,
bring in a new court.
I would hope
they'd have to bring in the PBA court.
Watching that on BTN Plus would not be very fun.
There was a chance a couple years ago when they went to the NIT that the women would have had to play there.
Yeah.
But they didn't get to that point. So
that floor.
That didn't happen. That would have been fun. I would have enjoyed doing that. I was seriously looking forward to it. But
I know Nebraska volleyball entertained the thought like a couple of years ago of, hey, is there any way we could do a game at the Coliseum? Which, since we've all been in school, the Coliseum looks different.
They went back once, though, right? Didn't they?
I don't.
A few years ago.
Women's basketball,
volleyball,
or volleyball?
They went back to the Coliseum a couple of years ago, didn't they?
That sounds.
But now it's so They have so many season ticket holders that you wouldn't be able to accommodate everybody.
Right.
So that's why
I know.
Like next year, they're going to play at least one match at PBA.
It would have to be it would have to be like an exhibition.
Yes.
So where you just open it up.
So people would not be livid. Hey, I didn't get in to see.
Right.
You play.
This is part of my package.
Wasn't it Penn State last year that played at their essentially the rec center
and they won.
Basketball, and they won, and it was packed, and it was a really cool environment.
Yes,
compared to the
and
Bryce Jordan Center.
If I was Penn State, I mean Bryce Jordan is a dungeon.
Yeah,
playing
a
in the
gigantic
smaller
dungeon.
Yes.
Yep. It's huge.
Cavernous.
They haven't done it in a while, but Michigan State would like once a year play at Jensen Fieldhouse.
Yeah, I think that's so cool
Magic
to do that.
Played and
I think that's awesome.
K-State, and this is probably now 15 years ago. I think K-State played one game at Ahern Fieldhouse.
Okay.
Not the
Bramlage.
The Octagon of Doom.
Yeah, the Octagon of Doom.
People forget the last time Nebraska played there.
They won. They won handily
on a Sunday.
They won handily.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Last year
in December on a Sunday.
I thought there's no way you could do Creighton men at the Sokol. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't. Like you would need something, you would need the Civic to exist again. Like you could.
What if that happened?
Now we've talked about that extensively on the show and our love for the Civic Auditorium, which is now fallen and.
It's an empty space where that grocery store looks good on where it used to. Civic Auditorium used to be.
Yep.
So you went to the grocery store afterwards. I went to the outlet mall.
Oh, really? What's going on out there?
I needed something, so I went to the Nike store. I happen to like the Nebraska outlets. Remember when the outlets were a big deal when they first came on board, and it's because things were cheaper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did it change?
Fossil watch
Did I go
store.
into Nike, and essentially the shoes that I'm looking at are almost exactly the same price as if I went to a regular shoe store. Like if I went to Dick's, they're like the same price.
Oh yeah. Nothing's
when did that change?
The old Gretna outlet mall.
It's not a true outlet.
That had a Fossil store.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. What do you mean not a true outlet?
It's not a true outlet mall.
Right.
I don't think they've ever really treated it that way.
But it's called Nebraska Crossing?
Yeah.
The outlets.
The
outlet?
Yeah, it used to be the outlet and it used to be like, hey, come get Old Navy clothes. It's
Bugle
75% off.
Yeah, the point, like it's like a warehouse of stuff that they had previously put in their stores.
The overstock that they didn't get rid of, and they're like, well,
so basically, it's a mall in Gretna now.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Okay, but
there are those stops. I mean, there's one along 80 in Iowa, and then there's one up going toward Minneapolis on 35 too, where they're actual real outlets. So you can stop there. They have Nike warehouses, and you can just get stuff for cheap.
Now, I haven't been on the Nike website, but like Under Armour, for instance, if you go to their outlet section, you'll see a lot of the same things that you see at the Under Armour store, at the factory store in Gretna. And so it is, if it's still full price, you're going to get to a rack that's like 30 to 40% off anyway. So it does still give you the outlet type discount in some of those stores. And it's actually referred to on their website as their outlet merchandise. I don't know if that's the case for all the stores. Like Adidas, we were in there not that long ago. Oh my God, the entire thing was marked down. And so, it was super cheap at Adidas. Now, shoes wise, wasn't bad, but I was looking at like a lot of the clothing and stuff. Oh yeah. I mean, you could get 2 t-shirts for like $15.
Probably
Maybe I went on the wrong
cares
day.
about Adidas.
Post school shopping.
Yeah.
I was looking at a pair of shoes that I had my eye on, and I'm like, they're nearly the same price as going to where I saw them at Dick's.
No, it's not that.
So it's the Mall of Gretna.
By the way,
Pretty
get an email from Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Nebraska volleyball should do a students only game at the Coliseum.
Oh, that would be cool.
What's the Coliseum get? About what,
5,000?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know if the season ticket holders would think of that, but I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, the season ticket holders would not enjoy this. It would have to be an extra thing.
They'd have to be like outside where there's like there's like an overflow crowd, and then they can actually have like a closed circuit television to watch the game.
Yeah.
Well,
so you're part of the atmosphere, but you're not inside.
Those people who are sitting right behind the end lines, I mean, those guys are not moving the whole game.
So you got to have a lanyard to sit there.
Yeah,
because I would like to sit there for one like set.
Yeah,
just experience like the power. and maybe get a volleyball, smacked at me.
Mhm.
It is the same people, but I don't want to sit there when the game is on TV because the camera angle.
Oh, they do some
It's a low
pretty
angle.
tight
awkward-
shots.
It's
Yeah, it's
very
a low angle.
awkward of
Yep.
people that
Yeah.
are sitting there.
Yeah, it's a low angle.
Some pretty tight shots.
I've been a big advocate. I wish there would be a high school or two here in Omaha with basketball would play a students only game like at 1:00 on a school day. And every
Where it's
kid
essentially
in
like
the
an
school
assembly.
is required to go
Yeah.
to the game,
okay.
and it's just students.
That
and
would be
let's
nuts.
say
You know how
Prep is
loud that would
playing
be?
Central or something.
Yeah.
And it's just students in the cage.
Yeah.
It's during the school day.
That'd be so loud.
That would be nuts.
Yeah. Like, you make it an all school assembly. Like it's a
And you know how
requirement.
those assemblies get.
Yeah.
But what a great atmosphere! Because as
Who's gonna get kicked out for
some
smoking?
places more than others, your student attendance is way down.
Yeah.
Um,
Get people invested again.
1:00. It's
Like right after lunch, come down.
Yeah, you break up the curriculum for the day. It's like after the game, school's out.
Yeah.
We're only asking for that's the rest of your day,
Mhm.
but you're in the gym supporting your classmates and they're playing a basketball game. It's students only.
Yep. Get in there. We're locking the doors.
Yep.
You're standing here. It's going to be 88 degrees inside.
I swear at every assembly growing up, there was always someone who got kicked out for smoking. Someone was trying to smoke in the corner, like, oh gosh, we could smell it. And then like, oh yeah, it's those guys again.
At Central, I think we always did our all school assemblies in the auditorium where they do like the plays and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think we actually did them in
Yeah.
the gym. That gym is pretty small.
We did do ours in the gym.
Big
Yeah,
deal.
that you know what? Now you bring that up about Central. I am surprised every time I go there for a basketball game
Small gym.
that it's small.
Yeah.
I would have thought Central's gym would be, or they might even build a new one.
Yeah.
It could be a little bit larger.
Yeah. Well, that one's pretty new, and
Well,
they
yeah.
didn't. Well, it wasn't as big probably as it needed to be.
Look at my World Series man.
He's on here every week.
Look at that hair.
Yeah, they're always talking.
People
about
made fun of him moving Kyle Schwarber to the leadoff position.
Look at that hair. Matt, real quickly in the Equitable Bank inbox on the outlets, says the Williamsburg outlet about 20 miles outside of Iowa City is great stop. True outlet can also get Amana Colony smoked meats, which is some of the best smoked meats in the Midwest.
That was what I was talking about. That's the one on 80.
What's
yeah.
the one right before you get into Minnesota?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Is that the one?
other one?
Okay.
Owatonna.
Yes, that one does have a true Nike outlet. I remember we were going up to Duluth for the Omaha Duluth series, and I needed a new coat, and I found
Daddy needs a new
I
coat.
got a Nike down jacket for $40,
Oh boy.
and I couldn't stop talking about it all weekend. The guys I was with were like, "Hey, I bet I know how much you got that for," because I couldn't stop talking about how great of a deal it was.
So,
I was sporting my new Nike
Do we
down
not have
jacket.
any true outlet malls in Nebraska?
I don't think so.
in Nebraska.
I
no.
thought we were back.
Oh, we have truck stops.
If you have a fossil store, you are a true outlet.
Ooh.
If there's still a fossil store that exists, you are a true outlet. I remember that for whatever reason. I remember
Hey, Shador,
fossil
where'd you get
exists.
your watch? The fossil outlet.
Fossil outlet.
TikTok MF.
And then I think there was, you guys remember Bugle Boys? I'm
Oh, yeah.
pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
there was a Bugle Boy outlet at the
Bugle
old
Boys.
Gretna one. I think those are like the two mainstays, the two
Yeah.
attractions.
Those poor stores at the old Gretna
Yeah.
outlet. Whatever
You guys
happened.
have ruined it for me. Gretna just basically has a mall. Everybody calls it an outlet, though.
It's a
It's because
mall.
it's where the outlets
They have an
are.
REI.
They have a lot of great
They
stores.
got a Yeti store is pretty nice.
I got a Yeti hat there one
Yeah,
time.
yeah, they got good Yeti merch there.
Was the regular Yeti just too much? So he said, at least I want
Oh,
something.
I got
for
a
my-"
cup and I got a hat.
Actually, I you
It
know
costs
what?
$180.
I honestly am Yeti's clothing, like their shirts and stuff and hats are cool.
Yeah,
I actually
exactly.
I did not even recognize
They're like
them
if you
until I
buy
got there. Like, oh, okay,
like if you buy 6 cups, we'll throw in a
yeah.
hat half
So
off.
they have Yetis for kids.
Yeah.
And they were marked down, and my wife bought Reese one. He's now got his own little mini Yeti. I'm like, come
Wow.
on, what are we doing here? Do
Now,
we need this? They have Yeti shot glasses.
he probably
Kid's
looks
gonna
like
get his ass kicked.
I believe get your ass kicked for doing something like that.
he probably looks like Joe Burrow trying to pick up his Gatorade bottle.
Yeah.
Now, the Yeti cooler is not bad.
The-
The
hey,
big-
Oh,
That's what I got for the winning the March Madness one.
Well,
it is a nice cooler.
I really
your neighbor could win maybe a Yeti cooler in the 1620.
Yes, they could.
The only
Yes, they
people
could.
that have those coolers is people who have won them. Nobody has enough money for that.
So when I was at the Yeti store, it was busy. I didn't see one person getting a cooler.
Yeah, you are right. I looked at one at Dick's, or no, I was at Shields. Yeah, I've never paid that much.
Yeah, it's cool.
We have one at the College World Series every year that is part of the prize pack.
Oh yeah, that one's a
sits
monster
at the Village with us. And
yeah,
it's like I want that.
It's a nice cooler, but a styrofoam box will do the trick.
Exactly. I feel like I could spend just a couple of bucks and I'll be just fine.
Now join our contest. You could win it and get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, then you can be like, hey, check out.
Compete against us.
It's like carrying around a Louis. It's like the Louis of coolers.
When does Stanley open up an outlet type store?
Oh yeah,
that's got to be coming.
We're getting close.
There are no Stanley standalone stores, are there? Everything's just online.
Well, they probably have some wrenches and screwdrivers.
Made the mistake of saying to someone recently, if you have one Stanley, I mean, why do you need another? They're exactly the same.
Are collecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of where, go ahead, Josh.
Store locator.
Oh, there's Stanley stores.
Oh, it just tells you can buy it at Dick's, you can buy it at Shields, you can buy. Okay,
gotcha.
That's not a.
I'm team Yeti.
Sorry, go about your conversation.
Speaking of locations of things, and how they might be a little bit different. This year's Nebraska basketball opening night will be at the Rail Yard.
Oh,
outdoors.
Indeed.
Hello.
Rucker Park.
Interactive fan friendly event will take place on Canopy Street between R and Q. And the street next to the Rail Yard, next to PBA, will be closed for the event. It starts at 7. So what are they going to do? Are they going to put up some hoops?
I mean, they could put ice down to ice skate. They might as well be able to put a floor on.
Yeah. This seems cool. This seems like a good idea.
I've seen Drake do it in downtown Des Moines.
I think the opening night thing got a little stale, after Rick Ross,
Which
that's right.
Still is amazing that if you are coming to a Rick Ross concert, you already know kind of what he does and what his lyrics are. Why are you offended?
Oh, I don't think people were offended by it. I was a little offended that he showed up so late. That's all.
Wasn't Kansas fans also like offended with
Snoop Dogg? Yeah,
Snoop, and they had strippers that were.
Oh yeah.
And I was also
like, what is this?
I was also mildly offended that his hype man said incessantly that Nebraska was going to win the division.
Yes,
in basketball.
We're a little off there.
Yeah. They're going to win the Legends division.
We're going to win the division.
Maybe also
they did not win the division that year.
Are they going to have a act in entertainment? Because they're on a roll of some people you don't know who they are and you have to Google them.
It just says it's a free event, and it's on Canopy Street, and it features the basketball teams.
Remarks from Fred Hoiberg and Amy Williams. It says
there you go.
Remarks.
That's going to be.
You know what they should
remarks.
do?
How do we get me involved in this? I got to get in there. My presence has never been requested at the opening nights.
Wow, that's because you're not D Wayne.
Yeah, this feels like a D Wayne.
This does feel like a D Wayne.
That damn D Wayne.
Hey,
he's got it cornered.
Maybe you need to get with Creighton and do something bigger than what Nebraska.
Oh yeah, you do it.
Like
do it in the
go to
Capitol.
the zoo.
Oh.
Creighton is an opening night type of deal, right?
Why can't they do it at the Capitol District?
They have had one at Sokol where the men and women are together.
All right, yeah, I can do that.
They've done all those, like they did the pole vault competition down at the Capitol District. They laid down, the little runway and everything, and the pole vault. You could do some hooping down there.
I once went ice skating with the 2014 American League champion Kansas City Royals at the Rail Yard. Select members of them, anyway.
Wow.
Terrence Gore, Eric Kratz, and
very much select members.
I think Willie Wilson didn't go skating, but he was there. He wasn't on that team either. And then HUD was there.
Of course he was.
And HUD was like, let's go see Ersty. And then we took him over to the Nebraska's. We took all those guys over to Nebraska's facility, and Eric Kratz was in awe of Nebraska's baseball field because he played at some like little D3 school or something like that. He's like, this is a college field.
We're now a lot of college baseball players that go into that facility like,
So
is that when the Royals did
HUD,
the caravan?
Yeah, HUD goes in. So in the Alex Gordon complex where you walk in, there's like a big window that overlooks the facility.
Yeah.
And HUD goes, we walk HUD in there, and he just starts doing his classic raise the roof thing. And Darren Erstad, as much emotion as I've ever seen from him, is standing in the far corner, and somebody catches his eye. He's like, look up there, and he stops everything, runs up the stairs, and comes up and hangs out with Rex Hudler. It was very cool.
Ice skating.
Yeah, ice skating with Terrence Gore. I have a picture of it.
Did Rex Hudler ice skate?
No.
Okay.
Just signed some autographs, I think.
Okay.
Talk to Ersty.
Got to see Ersty.
I got to find that picture.
Bobby Witt Jr. or Ellie Dela Cruz in a 40-yard dash.
Bobby.
Yeah, I think
Gotta go with my guy.
I would take Ellie in longer distance once he gets those legs going.
I don't know.
I would.
I like Bobby there too.
I think once he just gets set and he's good.
I got to go with my guy. Got to go with Bob.
Bob Witt.
He is very fast. That play where he scored from first on the pop. Well, scored from first on the one down the left field line, but 2 nights ago when he scored from first on the pop up. I mean, that was insane. Hey, look, here it is.
I give him credit. He is
so random.
It's Terrence Gore and Eric Kratz ice skating at the rail yard.
There's a lot of
he is
people
one
there.
of the rare guys that, like, you hit a ball, right-handed hitter, you hit a ball to second base, they will jog it out because they know what the end result is going to be. He sprints all the time.
He's a true ball player.
Yep. He loves the game. Means more to him.
That's why he has my vote for American League MVP.
I think he's getting closer to overtaking Judge.
That Aaron Judge. It just doesn't mean as much.
He is having one of the best seasons by a shortstop period, like ever.
It is amazing.
Hollis Wagner.
Since Hollis.
That's what Farron said yesterday. Yeah. Because, every once in a while, people realize that it's not Honus Wagner anymore. It's Honus.
Are you guys surprised on a day where there was a lot of national news that Castellanos got hit by a pitch and started a bench clearing?
That's what I was curious.
Engagement in the middle of the field.
When he hits a home run, we know what happens. But when he gets hit,
they were trying to get him out of the game to
before the debate started.
They were trying to do America a service.
Vegas got to the who were they playing last night? The Rays.
Yeah.
Vegas got to the Rays and said, "You need to get this guy out of the game because everyone has placed a bet on Nick hitting a homer."
We got a debate about the start here.
That, like, when something major happens, all of his props come off the board.
Jeff writes in about Nebraska basketball's opening night.
Hi, Jeff.
I bet Josh will be there to troll Fred and yell at him.
No.
Hater of Nebraska basketball.
Trolls don't show up to places and confront people.
I love it. Yes.
That's true. That's a good point.
They went to the NCAA tournament last year.
Yeah.
They did.
What are you, Andy Katz? Andy Katz said they're rebuilding this year.
He's reverse Andy Katz from
they're like
last
an
year.
old team.
Joe Lenardi has him as the first 4 out.
Last 4.
I
saw
first 4 out. First 4 out.
Rayfeld Davis was like, people need to watch Nebraska. I'm like, it's September. I can't.
We haven't even reached week 3 of football. Just back it down.
I don't want to see any more Rayfeld Davis tweets.
John Fanta has released multiple videos saying the national media is not talking about Michigan basketball enough.
Oh my God. Yep. Nope.
I love basketball dudes.
Yep.
So many sicko things.
Are we
in that
not?
one
Yeah.
sentence.
Are we not discussing Michigan basketball enough?
Well,
right now?
So did you see the video yesterday? Or this is from a couple days ago, actually, on that. What's the network that they work for? The
Field of 68.
Field of 68. Yeah. So it's Fanta and Douster and one other guy. And the other guy comes in and he's all mad because this Vidor Zugic guy for Creighton, they all think that he's going to be like one of the best dudes in the Big East like this year.
Oh,
like, okay.
Because he's 21 years old and he's played multiple years of professional basketball already. And the guy, Terry Oglesby, I think is his name. And he came in and he was like, how can this happen? This guy has played in the top league in Germany for multiple years. And now he could just go to Creighton.
Sure.
He was like mad. He was mad about it. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of get his point, but what a deal for Creighton.
He was there last night, volleyball.
Mr. Zugic.
Yep.
Whoa.
Let's
so
go.
was Dylon.
Do you think? Yes.
There were a lot. I didn't see Mr. Zugic on TV.
They were up in the last couple rows.
Well, it's a biased Big Ten broadcast. So. Also, Dylan looked a lot like The Rock.
Yeah, I got the turtleneck.
Yeah.
The chain outside.
Turtleneck and chain.
Yeah.
Was he wearing a fanny pack? Couldn't quite tell.
That's why I would like to see Rothstein on a college football Saturday. Like, is he like pacing in his house? He would like to tweet something, but he knows he'll get lost in all the college football tweets.
Let's see what Rothstein's been tweeting about lately.
Because someone gave him the Big Ten and Big East conference schedule, and he just
like that was supposed to come out today.
Every hour he tweets something out.
Yeah, he's slow dripping.
Like, it's like, okay, I've talked to my sources. We got this game.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably because you have the schedule in front of you.
38 minutes ago, he said that Butler is going to play UConn at Hinkle on December 21st.
Yeah, he had a Marquette one earlier too.
And Creighton's going to get Villanova in Omaha before Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, like last year?
Just like last year, the Doug game and did not go well.
I like the New Year's Eve.
St. John's, Rick Pitino on New Year's Eve.
He's going to want to die.
Nice.
I want to go outside, jump in the snow, and die.
How cold will it be that night?
It'll probably be.
Hey, Josh,
balmy.
by the way, were you pumped to see Derek White at the Colorado game with Baylor?
I'm happy that many people got to see what happened on that football field that day.
Baylor and
Derek White
and Derek
Baylor
White.
They
made an appearance in the Colorado locker room.
Yeah, I mean, Baylor was he looked like he was pro Buffs.
But he said GBR.
Oh,
he said GBR.
Oh, okay.
But the word is that the sideline passes came from Colorado. The Nebraska would not.
Oh,
but here's the thing I observed.
That's what the others see you.
They just won a world championship, right? The Boston Celtics.
That's right, and a gold medal. Derek White.
People don't know who he is.
No.
Derek White or Baylor Shireman?
No, they know who Baylor Shireman is.
Derek White, yeah.
Because people
they
just
know that he's the ugly guy.
Yeah, Baylor's more recognizable.
People also
Derek
forget
White.
Baylor Shireman could have been the third string quarterback at Nebraska.
Yeah,
it's true.
But people don't know who Derek White is around here.
They're like, that guy looks familiar. Okay, there's Baylor Shireman. That guy, I know that guy.
Like,
Why do I know that guy?
You look at him and you go, I think he's an athlete, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Just looking at how people like. That guy won a world championship and a gold medal, played at Colorado. Granted, he played at Colorado when Nebraska was not in the Big 12, so you didn't see him. But, like, no one was approaching him.
Yep.
Yeah. You got to
like,
get
even a kid for an autograph or anything. Like,
hi,
hey, can
my
I get
name
a selfie?
is world champion Derek White. That's what it should say.
Hi, my name is Olympic gold medalist Derek
like,
White.
there was a guy that came over to talk to Shireman and just kind of ignored Derek White.
We don't care about the NBA around here. Also, source. Georgetown will open Big East play against Creighton on December 18th in Washington, D.C.
That will not be one of Georgetown's wins in the Big East.
How many got him down for?
I don't know. Haven't done my research yet.
Maybe 3 or 4.
We set the over-under at 2.5.
For Ed Cooley's sake, I hope it is greater than it was last year.
Respect
when you made
to
a
Ed
prediction.
Cooley.
Respect to Ed Cooley. You have to respect Ed Cooley.
So their first 3 conference games go at Georgetown, home for Villanova, home for St. John's.
Unless there's one in between those two. Yeah.
DM Rothstein.
Yeah. Hey, what do you got?
You might screenshot.
No, there wouldn't be because it'd be Christmas during that. No. So they'll take the 10 days off.
People forget Creighton once played on Christmas.
They did. It was a very well-watched game.
That's right.
Many people watched it because they loved Creighton and DePaul.
Even Dion referenced it.
It's true.
What are you looking at the TV numbers?
Jeff says Nebraska and Creighton fans can unite that Baylor was in the Colorado locker room, traitor.
What?
I think Creighton fans are upset about that.
I don't think any.
Although I get it. The Creighton fans that also root for Nebraska football. So it is kind of funny.
Did he what colors was he wearing at the USC Creighton volleyball last week?
So I definitely did think about that for a moment. I don't think that he was there. I don't
Really?
I don't think that he was there. Yeah. I saw
That is interesting.
At the most recent Creighton volleyball match, Stephen Ashworth and his wife and child were there.
Yeah.
And Ryan Kalkbrenner and his wife were also there.
It's a weird ass team.
I know.
Yeah.
They're all married. They got kids.
I know.
401k, all kinds of
Do
things.
they have to take time off from work to play for Creighton?
It's like the arena football.
Look, Greg, you can't be adding games last minute. I only got so much PTO.
We're gonna be
December 18th
I
in
don't have a
DC.
sitter tonight. All right, come on.
That'd be awesome if they were just like, I can't make it happen. I got a big family thing. It's Christmas.
Do you think that the Creighton has a
Kids
family
got a thing.
trip? And usually in a family trip, you can take mom and dad. but instead they're taking their wives and their kids.
Yeah. Yep.
Kid's
All family thing.
got his Christmas concert.
So
Can't make it.
Well, Allie was playing for Nebraska in volleyball. Baylor would come to a lot of matches, but he would never wear anything red. Nebraska fans would get so triggered.
Neutral.
He'd be there to support her.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we're black.
And then
I think
when
Baylor
she would come to support him, there would be periodic times where she'd wear like it looked like it might have been one of his.
I think it's clear that Baylor is just a fan of sports. I've seen Baylor at Nebraska football games before that didn't have anything to do with anybody he was dating or anything like that. He just likes sports.
He likes sports.
He loves sports. He loves sports.
He shows up.
He's longing for the days when he could have been
he likes the big games.
In Nebraska, got himself a scholarship, and possibly have thrown a touchdown.
Oh yeah, he could have. He would probably would have been. He was
at quite a few Creighton baseball games.
He was.
We saw him at quite a few of those games. He could have thrown
a touchdown pass to Austin Allen, and Aurora would have exploded.
Oh man, the two tallest guys in Aurora.
I think those guys. I think between he and Kalkbrenner threw out multiple first pitches.
Now he's got a brother who's a dude.
Yeah,
in football.
Booker
sport.
Booker Sherman.
Yeah. Not a lefty though. Sad.
Do you think that he's one of the rare Aurorians named Booker? You think he's got a lot of Bookers?
Yes. I bet he is one of very, very
the only
few
Booker and the only Baylor
in the long history of Aurora.
Poll question: are there a lot of Bookers in Aurora?
I only know 3 people in Aurora: Baylor and Booker Shireman and Andrew Rodriguez. That's it.
Yep. Austin Allen
4.
Yep.
That's the Mount Rushmore right there.
I think their head football coach is Todd Peterson.
Really?
Not related to the Papillion Vista softball coach.
Not like Todd Peterson, the wide receiver?
No, not that.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think he coaches.
Wow.
He's like a doctor or something
Doctors can't coach.
I don't think he's a doctor. He's got a job.
Kyle Peterson is not that one. Is the head of the Aurora Huskies football team.
Not
Kyle Peterson.
Not Todd.
Todd.
But they've got he's a good young coach.
Oh, Rusting source. Next season's game between UConn and St. John's at MSG will be on Sunday, February 23rd.
That's ridiculous. That he's got the schedule. How do you think he determines what? Okay,
what are we leaking next?
Does he have a following quota for today? Like he needs X amount of followers.
He's got to release 6 games today.
Yeah.
The Big East Conference is like, if you need anything, just go to John Rothstein's Twitter account.
Yep.
That's our release show.
Are they paying him to tweet today?
Probably.
Do we know what network that game's on?
We do not.
Okay.
No.
I mean, 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, if Fox has the Super Bowl, they could be talking about Big East basketball during the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I don't think so. Probably the next episode of.
You don't think that commercial inventory they'll save a spot for the Big East game of the week?
Yeah, probably not.
Hey, how about one final thing? How do we feel about Sella 400 and Tim Brando? Speaking of the Big East, is on the call for Fox.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I love sellouts, and Timmy B is a very good hype man. I think he'll say the things that need to be said.
Do people hold
the voice of Scott Frost's first game?
Yeah. Yeah.
He said it, Connor, right as kickoff was happening.
I know. It's awesome.
The Nick Saban of the Plains.
Didn't age well. That's okay.
No,
Sometimes you take shots and you miss.
He got a couple selfies in and, was on his way. Got very political on Twitter and boom.
Have a great day, guys.
You have fun as well.
We will. That's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Wednesday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you back from the baseball park.
Hello.
Where Josh is now a local celebrity.
Yeah, getting a lot of calls. The Padres, the Cubs, the Reds. They want me to come out. I'm like, guys, I'm just too busy.
Baseball teams are asking Josh, come sing our 7th inning stretch song. Please. Please, please, please.
Throw bags of Cracker Jack into the audience.
But Josh's allegiances lie with this show.
That's right.
So he's unavailable. We've had to tell him. I say that as his representative, of course.
I appreciate that.
Josh is my representative, and I am his.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a situation like that in anywhere?
In media?
Yeah, it's kind of just one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
We represent each other. Welcome to a Wednesday show. Today we will have a weekly chat with Mitch Sherman of The Athletic, Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com, and we'll have the tweet bag coming up today as well. Get your tweets in at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We'll open that thing up at noon. That's the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys, 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the aforementioned J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streaming audience today. What's up? Few and far between now that the Colorado people are gone. They're worried about something else.
A little more room in the chat now.
They're worried about some other stuff. So please join us, or you can watch, of course, conveniently located on our website. Well, an offshoot, I guess, of our website, zonetv.live.
Very easy to remember.
Andy writes in.
Hi, Andy.
The Burke Hall of Fame tour begins.
Put me in, cowards.
If you went around and started singing "Take Me Out to the Ballgame" at various ballparks, I think that would enhance your case.
Many people are asking me to perform at their sporting venue, yet my phone gets no calls from Burke High School. Interesting.
They don't know what they got until it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you all of a sudden start associating yourself. You know what? Actually, no. I'm a Central High grad now. I'm a prep guy. I don't know that you would say that.
I wouldn't.
Welcome to the show. The volleyball last night was good. We will talk about that. Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders have both now done podcasts appearance since the game on Saturday night. We'll tune in for some of those things. How Nebraska will handle its boredom. The defense's next step. More Buffs tiers. What's going to happen with Coach Prime? People are really wondering about this now. I have a prediction for the Nebraska-Northern Iowa game. And Josh has asked Grok if Nebraska is back.
Many people are asking Grok many things.
Grok is Twitter's AI thing. And Josh has asked it if Nebraska is back. I wonder what Grok will say.
It had a shockingly detailed answer.
Perfect. Excellent. So we'll dive into all those things today on the show. Do we acknowledge the fact that it's September 11th? I think we just did.
Yeah, you just did.
Do we do the whole thing where it's like, where were you? Or do you remember where you were? It's crazy. It's been 23 years. 23 years. It feels weird that I've even been alive and aware for 23 years. I was in 4th grade.
With the passage of time, yes.
There were some real rumors going around Prairie Wind Elementary that day. I don't care to share many of them, but I do remember what the kids were talking about.
A lot of fake news.
Yeah,
wandering around the halls of Burke High.
Luckily,
in my sophomore year.
Luckily, we weren't equipped with social media to send out our takes. It just stayed in the school right there, which is nice. Would have cluttered up social media quite a bit, probably.
It would have
on that day. I used my Twitter. We are doing a radio show picture today as one of the pictures that I took inside the 9/11 museum when I went there several years ago. Now, this is my time to say this every year. If you get the chance, go. It is one of the most emotionally moving experiences I've ever had. It's wild in there.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Seriously, go.
High recommendation.
As high as it gets for me. Go. And it's a monument, a great monument to a terrible, terrible thing, obviously. Okay, so that's it. Also, I did several weeks ago look up the Yankees record on 9/11, post 9/11 happening.
And
it's important tonight because they play the Royals.
Yeah.
The Yankees are 14-6.
Ooh, pretty good.
On 9/11. They've won 4 in a row. They didn't play last year. They won their first 7 games on 9/11 after 9/11 happened. Then it got a little wonky for about 8 years.
Ooh. The Mets are 8-12.
8-12. Almost a different number. Almost a different number.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's your stats of the day.
Bet you didn't think we'd have that on tap today, did you?
And it's a perfect time to take a break. We'll be back. Many things to discuss from yesterday, including the volleyball. Let's do that. I have a question for you regarding the volleyball. How soon before that rivalry, that Creighton Nebraska rivalry in volleyball specifically, turns into something a little bit different? I'll explain when we come back on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. 2 years ago today, our sweet baby boy, Scott Frost, was canned and has come to understood that his truck was dented.
What a day.
What a day. I was going to I was just walking into the ballpark at Warner Park for a Sunday afternoon game with the Omaha Storm Chasers. I received a text on my phone and it said what was happening. And then I turned around and left and went to Lincoln. And then I saw Trev Alberts talk about what was going to happen next. And then shortly after that, a little thing called The Wheel was born, Josh.
That's right.
Remember The Wheel?
A great early bit.
The Wheel of Coaches.
That's right.
Was born. So that means 2 years ago, last night, Nebraska painfully lost to Georgia Southern.
That's right.
Yeah. And I was at a wedding, and I still haven't watched that game really at all. It's great.
I was sitting down to watch week 1 of the NFL, and I said, this is going to be fun. And right as the games were coming on the air, I got the call. Hey, your day's ruined.
Yep.
You have to come into the station.
Time to go to the studio. And we provided some. Man, I wonder what. I wonder if how it would sound if we listened to that show again. The show that John, Josh, and I did that day, or I guess it was just really John and Josh, and then I kind of appeared on it.
What were our
after
takes
a little
like?
while? Yeah, I mean, it was probably stuff that we had said before about Scott Frost, but I wonder what we had said about like what Nebraska needs going forward and where they're going to go, and maybe even some names that popped up because I mean we were already name watching that day, like before that day, right? I if we were to fast rewind back 2 years ago, I would imagine that the top name at the time would have been Dave Aranda, right? That was like the top.
Dodged a bullet there, didn't we, folks?
Yeah, got away with that one.
Yeah,
we just got the Baylor
Aranda.
coach before that.
Mm-hmm.
Worked out okay. It worked out okay. So at least so far. Anyway.
Many people clamored for Matt Campbell.
Colin writes in.
Hi, Colin.
More importantly, 2 years ago today was Michael's video. That's true.
That's right.
Guess he was getting ready to watch the Saints. And they said, come over here, Michael, do a take. And he did a take. That is for sure.
I don't know if that's a take. More of
he said some things.
Disseminating information. Good information.
But why didn't they tell us? Why didn't he tell us earlier?
Well, you can't really go on the air and say that someone is not doing their job. Like, you can say that they're not, like, oh, Connor doesn't do his job, but like literally not do the job.
John writes in on the YouTube comments. Trev Alberts has concepts of a plan.
Yes, he does.
Trev Alberts had a great plan, actually. We should give Trev credit for that. Should give Trev credit for that.
Yeah, there were some good times, weren't there, baby?
Yeah, Trev did some good things. Trev hired Matt Rule.
Ooh, you said that your voice was really high.
Trev did some good things. Trev Alberts did good things. And then he left. And now he's not viewed the same way around here anymore. Take his name off the stadium, people were saying. People forget about that one. Okay, volleyball from last night.
Yeah.
Woo! I don't know what you were watching on TV last night, but I hope it was this because I wasn't watching whatever else was on the other channels, although I did see clips and quotes.
Just because it's on every channel doesn't mean you have to watch it.
That's right. A spectacular volleyball showcase last night in Lincoln where Nebraska really controlled the first two sets. I mean, really pretty handily.
Yeah.
And then that third set got real wacky and ended up in a 33-31 Creighton win. And then Creighton controlled the fourth. And then Nebraska jumped out to a lead in the fifth and never really gave it up.
Kind of an anticlimactic fifth set.
Kind of. Yeah. There was some drama. There was some stress there, but Nebraska jumped out to a lead and never gave it up. Creighton still has not beaten Nebraska in the sport of volleyball. 0-22 or 0-24, depending on where you look.
Media guide you're looking at.
Yeah, I have to ask Rob about that. I don't know why some does count or doesn't count. They do that that's the case for every football program too. Like you look at them and be like, oh, it says that we're this against you, and then the other media guide says that we're this. That's because the record keeping was probably a little bit shoddy, like when these teams started. And in volleyball, it wasn't that long ago, but it was, nobody was really sure. Okay, like is this a thing that's going to be around for a while? Like, what are we doing? We're in the infancy of. I
have the difference. Nebraska has it listed at 23-0. Creighton has it at 21-0. Creighton is not counting 2 matches from the 1980 season. Creighton is using the current streak since the program restarted in 1994, which excludes the 1980 matches, which fell prior to the program's break.
Gotcha. You were there, and then you took a break, and then you came back in the 90s. Got it. Excellent. Well, that answers the question then. I guess I have a question. Once again, I mean, the main takeaway here is what an incredible match. I think, it's a great response from Nebraska to be able to come back and win that 5th set. And not only that, like beat a team that was certainly game. And I guess the same could be said for Creighton too, although they still remain winless in the series. So that's the main takeaway. Like volleyball in the state is really, really good. I would love it if those two teams, I guess I would hate it, but I would love it also in a way as well. If those two teams played in the NCAA tournament some way, shape, or form. And I do think Creighton is good for a deep run this year. They're old, they're experienced.
Hello.
And they're really, really talented. They're obviously not as deep as Nebraska is. Like, Creighton relies pretty heavily on Norris and Ava Martin, and they answered the bell last night. That's for sure. Nebraska just has some more options there. But that's, Nebraska is the Ohio State, Alabama, whatever of college volleyball, and Creighton is just a damn good program who recruits really, really, like maybe more of like a Michigan of last year, right? Damn good program, recruits really, really well, and can certainly beat you if you're not up to the challenge. So my question is this: how soon before that rivalry? The takeaway from both fan bases after those two teams play every year is like there's always this sense of, wow, this is great for the state, right? I just to kind of explain it a little bit. It's like, wow, volleyball is so good in the state. And Nebraska kind of wraps its arms around Creighton at least a little bit in that way. They're like, nice. This is great that you're good. I'm really happy that you're good. Because in a way they feel like untouchable a little bit. And Creighton, can't view it as that bad of a thing to lose to Nebraska. There's always this sense afterwards from the people watching on TV is like, wow, this really is the volleyball state. You hear it from the coaches as well.
Nebraska likes being pushed in that way from Creighton.
And Creighton has a bar to measure itself against. I wonder, like, is it going to take Creighton winning one for that rivalry to become like a rivalry, for there to be some dislike? Not that there isn't already. I'm sure Creighton wants to win it as bad as, like they want to win it really bad, obviously. But it's like when you do those things and you play those matches, or like volleyball day last year for Nebraska, it's like, wow, this is great for the growth of the sport. People are watching it. People are tweeting about it. They're watching it instead of the debate. It's a great, it's a great
counter programming.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great thing to have on. That's for sure. And that's always the sense that I get coming out of those matches. But I wonder if the rivalry at some point becomes nasty. Like Creighton, Nebraska basketball is like, there's not that feeling after they play each other in basketball, right? Even though Creighton is the better program and Nebraska theoretically has something to match itself against in terms of a bar, and they haven't won a lot of those games recently, but indeed they have won some. But that's not the sense that I get after those two teams play each other. It's like, wow, basketball in this state is great. No, it's like, damn it, I wish we would have won, or hell yeah, we won, whichever way it goes. I wonder if it turns just even a little bit further as Creighton continues to build under Kirsten Bernthal Booth. And I mean, you could look into the future a little bit. I think there's a window of opportunity there for a program like Creighton. You know, if John Cook decides that he's hanging it up sometime soon, we don't have any indication that that's the case. You know, it's like there's a window of opportunity there. I just wonder if and when that happens.
Well, I think if Creighton manages to pull one out, somebody after the match is going to let a little something off their chest, right? Like, we've been clawing and scratching and fighting.
Maybe
we finally got their butt, and
maybe
somebody takes offense to that.
I don't know
Lincoln.
that. Like, if let's just say Creighton would have won. Let's just say Creighton wins last night. Like, Kirsten probably would have said that after the match. She probably would have been like, "Oh, we finally got him. It feels really great. It's a good moment for our program." I don't think John Cook would have taken offense to that.
No,
I think John Cook would have been like, "Man, that's a program that's just really cooking right now. They are in great shape." You know, been super complimentary about it. It would have been like, "I can't believe we lost to those suckers."
But
in Omaha, you know,
the players would have been. You know,
the
maybe,
players are all
one player.
There's so much local flair, you know, and you saw Lindsay Krause give her volleyball over to Nora Sis before the match. Like, it's the club volleyball community is like really tight knit. It's almost like the baseball thing in a way. It's like when Creighton and Nebraska play each other in baseball, there's some type of edge there, but then there's also not, because the guys have been in some cases, guys end up playing for the other school. You know, by the time their career ends, that will happen this upcoming year with at least one Creighton Blue Jay from last year. So, I mean, it's different than it is in basketball, which I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I'm not trying to make this, you know, like, oh, they need to hate each other.
Also, probably something to be said that maybe women are a little more measured than men.
That is definitely true. That is definitely true. But don't get it mistaken. Like, those teams are killers, you know?
Yeah.
They have quite being up close this year and watching Creighton volleyball, like they have some of the stone cold killer mentality that you're looking for too.
We could do a good video bit of like, hey, Josh, stand on the other end of this net and Nora Sis is going to hit a volleyball at you.
Oh my God.
And I wouldn't do it. I'm not joking. I wouldn't do it. It sounds like a cannon.
It does.
When all Nebraska, Creighton, all these great volleyball players, when they jump up and just smack it sounds like a cannon.
Yeah, you don't really get an appreciation. You get a little bit on TV. If you're right there, it's like, whoa, how was that defended in any way, shape, or like she just put her body in front of it and hoped it went up in the air.
With your forearms, you're hitting that? In high school, playing volleyball in PE class, like my arm, I'd go back to math class and my arms would be bright red.
Yeah, I know. It hurts. Travis writes in.
Hi, Travis.
He says, no matter how many games you count, it's still a big fat 0 for Creighton. Also insert dead Blue Jay meme. Also, even when Cook retires undefeated against Creighton, that may be a high bar and a high pressure for the coach that follows him. Yeah, Creighton's not going anywhere.
I think there will be some other pressures on whoever replaces John Cook.
Some bigger picture stuff, but certainly that'll be a part of it. First, next coach comes in and it's the first time they ever lose to Creighton, is like, wow, this is starting to feel like football after the 90s again. All these streaks are just going by the wayside. What's going on with this program? But in fact, it'll be more of a an illustration of what Creighton's done with their program. That's for sure. Let's see. Roger writes in.
Hi, Roger.
Everything about Creighton I despise. Although it was fun, if we would have lost, my day today would have been shot.
Whoa.
Okay. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm reading the room wrong. But I always get this sense of like, oh, this is nice. Outside of like the occasional bleep talking by random weirdo Twitter accounts, or something like that.
Always going to have that.
Oh, always going to be a little bit of that. But my read on it is like, oh, I'm glad that we were rewarded with this because that's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, a lot of the times.
Is there any fear from Nebraska? Like, if you're a hardcore Nebraska volleyball fan, are you fearful that Creighton is coming? The way that they are right now. Are you fearful of that? Because the sense that I get is that you're not.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh man, that's awesome that they're cooking and we're cooking at the same time. Like, this is great.
I have my own leanings, but genuinely, when I was watching that match last night, I didn't really care who won.
Yes.
Thrill me, entertain me.
Yeah,
and you gave me a 5-setter and a third set for the ages.
Text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Regarding Josh's arms. If you drink enough, your arms don't hurt from a volleyball. Said many people
in high school.
Said many people who play sand volleyball at our various bars in this city that have sand volleyball.
Okay.
I know there's a couple good leagues going on. Jeff says, nope, hate everything Creighton. They can take their ball and private school money home. Okay, it's very possible that I read the room wrong, or I'm just hearing from the vocal minority.
Yeah, I think you're the rational one in this situation,
Okay.
Connor.
Okay.
Just between you and me.
All right, let's take a quick time out here. We'll come back. Many things still left to get into. Mitch Sherman will join us at the bottom of the hour. How about this? A prediction when we return. I have a prediction about the game. You want to say you're bored this week? Well, how about this? I'll dance for you.
Whoa.
I got a little something for you next on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Many Husker fans chiming in on the latest topic, talking about how we're smoking crack and have to pick a side, and I hate Creighton all the time. There are a couple that said, yeah, I think, Happer, you're currently hearing from the vocal minority. Alex in Lincoln, I think, puts it pretty well. He says, I was at the game yesterday. If that's a Wisconsin game, it's a way more intense environment. Or if that's a Penn State game, it's a more intense environment. Maybe it was loud enough. Like we've seen loud Nebraska football games, but very few as intense as we saw on Saturday night, right? Why was it intense? Because they hated each other. They didn't like each other. You were hungry for it, right? I don't know, like, obviously, Nebraska's, 23-0 against Creighton. Like, you're not hungry to beat Creighton outside of the idea that they're good and a top 10 team and they wear blue. And people, I don't like when people wear blue.
Blue.
I saw a lot of dead birds on my timeline last night, that's for sure, for a variety of reasons.
You big on dead birds?
It's just no, I'm not big on dead. That's what happens when Nebraska beats Creighton and stuff. They show that picture of that dead bird just laying there. It's kind of sad. It died alone. All right, here's my prediction for the week. Nebraska does play Northern Iowa this weekend. I don't know if you heard the news. And people are like, can we just fast forward ahead to the good games? No, we wait all off season for this. All right. There's stuff that's going to be in here that's important.
Waiting all day for Saturday night.
Exactly. On the BTN with unknown. Well, I do know the broadcasters, but I couldn't tell you their names off the top of my head. Yogi is one of them.
That's right.
Nebraska will allow 0 points to Northern Iowa on Saturday.
Whoa.
0 points. And in fact, if you're gonna tie me to a score right now, I'll tell you my exact score prediction on Wednesday. I know I don't do this very often.
Whoa, Connor, yeah,
I'm gonna tell you this is what I'm working. So I don't lock this in, but this is my working total right now.
Do you remember how tightly guarded
I know,
Josh
they're
and
weird.
John? They're so weird
so
about it.
48-0.
Connor, that's very good.
48-0. And so I tweeted out my prediction. The big part of the prediction is Northern Iowa scores 0 points on Saturday. 0 points. And I got a tweet from Travis. And I don't think Travis is alone here. Travis says, Northern Iowa's better than Colorado. They're a solid FCS program. Depending on what metric, like they're in the SEC of the FCS, that's for sure. They haven't had much success in it in recent years, to be completely honest with you. But Travis says they're better than Colorado, to which I said, they are not better than Colorado. Let's just get that straight right up front. And it brings up this point. So Nebraska's in this moment right now where they're coming off an emotional win against Colorado. And as we've said all week, it was a perfect opportunity for a coach to be able to get in there and coach, right? Nebraska's up 28-0 at halftime, and they just didn't look great on offense in the second half. There's penalties, and
a little sloppy.
It could have been a lot worse on Saturday night for the Buffs than it ended up being. Could have been, as Rule said, like 3 times at his Monday press conference, it could have been 40 or 50-10. That's about what I thought it was going to be. It didn't end up being that. So I think that is a message to the players. Hey, this is what you can be, and you know it. You know it. And then he also said, turning it ahead to Northern Iowa, he kind of lumped UTEP and Colorado into the same category of, hey, these are teams that want to go fast and they want to spread you out and they want to throw it all over the yard a little bit. What we're going to see in Northern Iowa this week is a different kind of challenge. It's the same. It's the same challenge that we're going to be seeing in the Big Ten Conference, right? They're going to run the football. And he goes, well, I'm pretty curious to see, how we match up against that. And let me tell you, and it's like you guys forget, we listen so specifically to the things that the coaches are saying. And you got to understand that sometimes the coaches aren't talking to the public. The coaches are talking to their players. He's trying to send a message to his team. He's like, you better be ready for this. He wants to keep them locked in. it's part of the thing. It's part of the difficulty of playing an FCS opponent the week after you have this big emotional win on national television. And so I think he's trying to keep them engaged and saying, hey, these guys can give you a run. He said something about how when he was a coach in the NFL, he didn't look at Nebraska players. He looked at Northern Iowa players. He didn't see any Nebraska players, but he watched Northern Iowa players, right? It's almost a scare tactic. But why are we forgetting that Nebraska last year had a top 10 defense against the run in the country? You know, if the rub with playing Northern Iowa coming off of the UTEP and Colorado game is that, hey, look, they're a Big Ten style team and they want to run the ball. I think how Rule is trying to portray it to his team is, oh, this is a different challenge. You better be prepared for it. And we haven't seen this yet, so we better prepare really, really well this week. But I think, and we've all seen it, that Nebraska is actually a team that is better equipped and better prepared to play the type of teams that they're going to be seeing in the Big Ten. I think the teams that try to spread you out and try to throw the ball downfield and make plays with their quarterback and go fast actually pose a bigger threat to Nebraska. Now, this is outside of the talent levels of UTEP and Colorado compared to whatever you're going to see in the Big Ten. But I think those type of teams actually are the type of teams that would give Nebraska more fits. That's what I've seen. And so I think Nebraska is going to have a hell of a time stopping the run this week. They're going to stop it really well. And their quarterback stinks, and they're scoring 0 points on Saturday. So there's my prediction. The main point here is you don't have to listen to what the coach, like, it does not everything the coach says is 100%. Like it's not for you.
It's not for you.
It's for the players, and they have to keep them locked in. And I do think that's part of the challenge this week of like, hey, we're coming off this emotional win. Let's make sure we lock in for this. But there's no world where UNI wins this game. There's none.
No path?
There's no path, Josh. I'm comfortable with saying that.
Wow.
No path. I'm not worried about it whatsoever. And I don't think they're going to score any points on Saturday. So I'll back that up right here. Making an early prediction. Goose eggs for the Panthers. Look at what they've done to our cats. They're eating our cats.
I think that defense is going to pitch a shutout this year.
Okay.
At some point.
Okay.
They're probably feeling themselves quite a bit right now and might. God, that would be the best way to keep them engaged is you want that shutout, don't you? You want that donut.
No, I don't think that's I don't think he's dangling that out there as a possibility to his players. He's telling them like these guys are going to try and ram it up your face. You know, are you going to answer the bell?
You don't want to get your face rammed, do you?
Yeah, that's the last thing I want, to get my face rammed. So, pull question somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You don't want to get your face rammed, do you? Question mark. So no,
that can be taken a different way.
Nobody wants to get their face rammed. And I think that's the challenge to them this week. Like this is the type of thing that Illinois is going to try to do to them, that Iowa is going to try to do to them, that probably not Indiana is going to try to do to them. Nope. That's a little bit, but I make no mistake about it. I think Nebraska is better equipped to play against these type of teams, the Big Ten, slow plotting offenses with bad quarterbacks, than they are against dynamic quarterbacks who want to move the ball up and down the field, go fast, and then take your shots when you can spread you out and then hit you up to the middle, then ram it in your face. I think Nebraska is better equipped to play against these type of teams, and they're less talented than either of the two teams that Nebraska's seen in the schedule so far. So my math, I got these. It's just a math equation in my head. 48-0. You don't have to be scared about this just because Matt Rule wants the players to be scared.
I can't.
That is my main point of this segment.
I just can't immediately dismiss what you're saying, Connor.
You don't have. You can agree with me, Josh. You don't have to. You don't have to poke holes in my argument if you agree with it.
I don't know if I'm there yet.
Venmo
I'm very
Chris,
close.
Venmo Chris writes in.
Hi, Venmo Chris.
So, what are you going to do when Northern Iowa puts up 21 points? Do I get an apology for believing you? Yes, you will get an apology. I will apologize. If this is leading towards some sort of like Connor has to do something embarrassing if Northern Iowa scores. No, like
No.
I'm going out on a limb here, guys. This is a bold prediction. Nebraska's allowing 0 points on Saturday.
You've done Big Red Overreaction this season.
Twice.
That's right.
2 for 2.
Have there been the traditional calls of, well, it should have been 60-7 or whatever? Like, are people calling that we're not laying it on thick enough? We're not running up that score.
I think there was a disappointment for what happened in the second half on Saturday,
Sure.
but not like, we really, only now after Rule has watched the tape and told everybody what he's seen, is there like a regret of like, oh, we could have won that game by 40 points. I think that's how I'm reading it. That's how,
Yeah.
and I don't think it was some like emotional high that led them to do what they did on Saturday night. I just thought they were a lot better than them. Just like I think they're going to be a lot better than Northern Iowa.
Yeah, good game plan, hard work.
Yeah. Now we'll talk about Illinois when we get to Illinois, but that's a little bit of a different conversation.
I watched Illinois versus Kansas last night.
Don't trick yourself into being scared of our cats.
No.
Don't trick yourself into that just because the coach wants his players to be a little worried about it. They want them to be on their toes. That's my lesson of the prediction. It's a prediction and then a lesson. It's really the best of sports radio.
The players should take every opponent seriously.
Yeah.
After watching Illinois upset Kansas last night, I don't think we need to take Illinois all that seriously.
I know.
Kansas was
now all of a
pretty
sudden
reckless
we're
with that
worried.
football.
Everybody's worried about everything.
Yeah.
Why are we so worried about stuff? This is good. It's going well.
I understand. You've been burned before. You've been hurt.
Yeah.
The
bad man is gone.
Yeah.
He's in LA or maybe working remotely from Phoenix. Unclear.
Which is his decision.
You can do that if you want to.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't want to go into the office. Venmo Chris follows up. He says, I asked that for the people because I believe it will be a shutout or damn close. I hope that a whole bunch of people predict a shutout now, and I get to say that I was first.
You were out there first with the take.
I'm gonna be.
I see what you're playing chess, not checkers, my friend.
That's right. Wednesday. That's my new thing. Make your predictions on Wednesday. So when everybody predicts the same score this weekend, I'll be like, well, they're all copying off.
Copied me.
From the 402.
402.
So Nebraska scoring 48. Do they kick 2 field goals or miss an extra point? Great question. The more likely out of the two would be to miss an extra point, probably. Or maybe you kick a couple 20-yard field goals or something.
Well, you got to stop short of the end zone so that you can get the practice of the field goal kicks, right?
48-0. I will not specify how they get to 48. That would be a little too specific. 48-0.
Dave says 3 safeties.
That seems more likely than kicking multiple field goals at this point. Got a tweet earlier from Dave. Is it Dave Fight who wrote that? Dave Fight wrote this one.
Yes.
He
writes a lot.
He loves having takes, and he loves tracking things. He says, while I think the black shirts are long overdue for a shutout, and they've had 0 since the Nebraska's back and we're here to stay Holiday Bowl in 2009. In 16 games against FCS or Division I AA schools since 1992, Nebraska has yet to record a shutout.
Since 92?
Yeah.
Oh.
Lots of games with fourth quarter touchdowns against the scrubs. All right. Well, I'm saying that history will be made in Lincoln.
The theme of this season is righting wrongs. The first time since blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. That's back.
You need
at your media guides, folks.
You need that page of the media guide open and highlighted because you're going to be using it.
Back after this with Mitch Sherman coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On The Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
He can play.
All right, we're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Mitch, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm feeling good. It's safe to play that song there.
I know. We just give it 48 hours. This has been a roller coaster of the last 2 weeks. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad. The season's canceled or they're going to win the World Series. It's been a roller coaster.
I'm just excited that they're coming to the end of this 20-game stretch that just looked so frightening, and they're actually 9-10.
Yeah.
In the last 19 in this stretch. So my hope was that they could go 10-10 in this stretch, and
they could do it tonight.
They can do it tonight. I wasn't thinking it would include a 7-game losing streak.
No, the odds on that would not have been good. All right, so I made this prediction on the podcast this morning. I'd like to bounce it off you. Nebraska pitches a shutout against Northern Iowa on Saturday. Because what I got in response to that from people was, well, no, Northern Iowa's good. And I feel like people are listening to Matt Rule too much. They're listening to Matt Rule talk to his team about what they should be worried about rather than actually looking at this thing from an X's and O's perspective.
I think you're right about that people are listening to him too much about Northern Iowa. I don't think Nebraska's going to pitch a shutout because I think Tony White's going to play a lot of players in the second half. And I think Northern Iowa will get some points. Not a lot, but somewhere between 3 and 10 points in the second half. So, that would be quite an accomplishment because I think if the offense rebounds in the way that they're expecting, and I think will happen, then for the last time this season, the first team and a lot of the second team guys are going to get some rest in this game.
I think so too. And you're right. Now, the thing that I think the thing that makes it, not that we have to talk about like them against Northern Iowa a whole lot here, but when they got the chance to do that against UTEP in the first game of the year, it was pretty good. Like the effort and the intensity remained there. Like I got the sense, when Rule said during fall camp, and he was talking about how the second and third teamers are acting like second and third teamers. I feel like what we got in that UTEP game was not a good picture of that. It was a picture of the opposite. Those guys looked hungry to me and looked like they wanted to keep keep the good record of the starting defense intact.
Mm-hmm. Especially on the defensive side. I would agree. Yeah. On the offense, it was a mix. They had a hard time getting it into the end zone, and it kind of looked like parts of the second half against Colorado when the first teamers were in there. But yeah, I do think the defense is deep, and that was a trait of the defense last year. So it's not like just because you put the second team in there that there's going to be this immediate drop off. So we'll see. It could happen, but I think that Northern Iowa, I'm giving them enough credit that when it gets into the late stages of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they're going to have some opportunities to run for some yards.
Speaking of what Matt Rule has said this week, how much of what he said about the offense and Dylan Raiola being ahead and really challenging those receivers to kind of catch up to him, how much of that do you think is just a challenge to those guys rather than, I mean, obviously it was something that was happening during the game that they saw. They thought they could have won by more against Colorado than they ended up doing. But how much of that is just like hey, we have to kind of pick this thing up and go rather than, I don't have confidence that they're going to be able to do. Like I think he likes the group still, but it's more of a, hey, let's put this out there to challenge those older guys.
I don't think he liked a lot of what he saw from them against Colorado. I think what happened is Nebraska got to a big lead, and after the pick six, some of just the sharpness with which they expect the offense to play, it went away. Like, it's 14-0, and Nebraska started to play with this "let's not lose the game" mentality, with the exception of the 2-minute drill, and that was aided by some Colorado penalties. But there were big plays on that, and a great play to score the touchdown there by Ramir Johnson. Other than that, I do think that the offense was lacking in execution, and he really means what he says about the three-pronged plan that this team has, and one of those is a culture of execution.
Yep.
And that wasn't real evident on the offensive side for much of Saturday. So yeah, I think it's multi-level.
Mitch?
I also think that he legitimately means it when he says they should have scored 40 points. They could have scored 40 points in that game. That was their expectation going in. They ended up with 28 shutout in the second half. So there's reasons to want to coach them hard. I think he would have found another way to do it. I'm not sure. It wouldn't have been as easy if that game would have been 42-7 and the offense looked sharp for 3 quarters or 3.5 quarters. But, it's almost, it makes life a little easier for him that I think they're going to listen more intently because they know that it didn't come together in the second half.
How has special teams gotten to the point where it's at right now, where it doesn't, the problems don't seem to be isolated to just the kicking game, which we knew was going to be an issue at the start of the season. But now, I mean, we're talking about snapping and defending kickoffs and getting a punt blocked. I guess I didn't see this one coming as far as the operation was concerned. Where do you think they're at right now, and how have we gotten to this point?
I think it would be nice to hear. It would have been good to have like an honest moment with Ed Foley this week, because I think that group is in let's look at everything mode, and like back to the drawing board, and are the right players in the right places. And I don't know that they have a systemic problem with kickoff returns, kickoff coverage. I think Jimmy Horn Jr., he got loose on one, and they're going to do all right there. I think it's going to be a good group over the course of the season, especially if they can get more balls kicked into the end zone and get some touchbacks, which they should be able to do. But yeah, the kicking, the place kicking is definitely something to be more concerned about than, hey, this was an anomaly on one play. And the snapping, I'd say, is the same thing. Punt block, I'm not. Punt protection, I'm not as concerned about. I think that's more in the same class as the kickoff coverage. But it happens once, it can change a game. So once is too many, it happens again, then you're probably taking a hard look at guys on that unit. Where they go with kicking and snapping is a great question, because it's not like you can just trade players out. And they have some other options at place kicker, but if they're not out there and haven't gotten opportunities by now, then what they're doing in practice is also subpar. Because if you had somebody who you felt confident could make a 40-yard field goal, I think that guy would have been out there in place of Tristan Alvano on Saturday.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic is with us. Mitch, what do you think the next step is for Nebraska's defense? Well, like they've gotten turnovers, not at a terribly high rate here to start the season, but they've gotten a few of them. They've been able to get to the quarterback while rushing 4. We have a pretty good idea that they're able to stop the run. Like, is there any more still left for this defense to bring to the table?
It can be a little more on the ball hawk side. They forced the fumble with the backup quarterback in the game against Colorado the other day, and of course had the pick six, which is a hugely significant turnover. +2, or not +2, but generated 2 turnovers, created 2 turnovers in each one of the first 2 games, +3 for the season, which is outstanding. They're more than on pace for Matt Rule's +7.
They are, yeah.
That he wanted for 12 games. So yeah, getting balls out, I think, on run plays. They'll have opportunities to aim for that this week because Northern Iowa is going to run the ball. That's a focus. Being more aggressive, I think the depth is something that they can work on. But just the way they're playing and the way they're swarming, that's it. Like we're seeing it right now. This is where they want to be. I don't know that you can. It's not like they're at a level that you can't expect them to sustain and maintain.
Right.
Like I think about the play where Shadur Sanders, the pocket collapsed on him. He got out, made a nice move to get free, and he went toward the Colorado sideline. They were going from south to north, and it looked, he's immobile, and it looked like he might be able to run for the first down. And Tommy Hill, dropped out of coverage and came and like a missile and hit him and hurt him right in the hip. That was great stuff from the Black Shirts, and you've seen that on more than one occasion. So the goal is to continue to do that, and then work on the other things I talked about.
Okay, you just kind of triggered something in my mind here. Who do you think is there a guy on defense who has maybe you didn't expect such good play? Now it's early and it's been 2 games against whatever competition. I would point out, and maybe this is your guy, so I hope it's, I hope I didn't steal it from you, but
You'd say John Bullock.
Okay, John Bullock. I was going to say MJ Sherman. I think they found another gear from both of those guys so far this year.
Yeah, I've noticed Prince Will that jack linebacker spot. I think MJ's been solid and he's doing his job, and he gets asked to do a lot from that position when they're rushing 4, which they usually do. But that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the jack linebacker. Like you can rush 4 and bring the middle linebacker, or you can rush 4 and bring a safety. But usually it's the jack, and so MJ is very much a part of that pass rush and creating pressure. Prince Will is more explosive as a pass rusher, I think, at that position. MJ probably does the whole package of stuff better. I think Bullock is my guy, who was very good, above serviceable last year. He was part of a great defense. You're only as good as your weakest link on defense, and he was not their weakest link. This year, he's one of their stronger links. Like I look at Ty Robinson, he's anchor in the front, but they're all playing well. Tommy Hill is anchor in the back, and I think it's Bullock in that middle group with the experience that he has now and his understanding of different things. Like the way he took away the slant on the pick 6 is underappreciated. He made that interception. He made it happen. Tommy made it happen, but he made Shadur make the throw. So
yep,
he's doing a lot of stuff. That's really good.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. All right, Mitch, we'll let you go. Appreciate you taking the time as always. Who knows where we'll be a week from today when we have our 2-minute conversation about the Royals. So we'll find out.
Oh, I can't wait.
See ya.
Thanks.
That's Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. Yeah, that's right. Only 9-10 so far in that 20-game stretch. People were calling them frauds. I wonder how they're doing this 20-game stretch. They even had a 7-game losing streak. Just imagine if they didn't lose any of those games, it'd be a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
They have 3 losses in 19 games so far.
I mean, even if you went something very pedestrian like 4-3 in that stretch, 3-4 in that stretch, it's
all of a sudden looks a little bit different, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe they're real life. Yeah. Anyway,
maybe the Orioles go on a 7-game losing streak.
It's still possible. Anything could happen.
That's right.
It's a half game lead for the Yankees in the AL Central right now. Everybody's really tight. That's the other positive part.
Very tight.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Stretch run.
Sure is. All right. Quick time out. We will be back with the odd news. Josh has it. Don't forget to get your questions in for the tweet bag, which is coming up here in just a few short minutes. You could tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer, the JTech Instructions on Twitter feed. You can email a tweet. You can text a tweet. You can comment a tweet. It all still counts on the tweet bag, which is coming up in just a little bit. Back after this with the odd news on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Josh, it's time for the odd news. And I can't wait. I love when news is odd.
Well,
it's almost like the real news is odd.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels that way.
I don't really want to talk about that, though.
Wait, the debate's not going to pop up on odd news?
It's not.
Why don't you do, after every time they do a debate from now on, why don't we do, instead of the odd news, we do like a fact checker segment?
Well, we're only a 4-hour show, Connor.
True.
We begin at Purdue University.
Okay.
Shenanigans are afoot, Connor.
What's that place you like with all the stuff on the wall?
Shenanigans? During Purdue's season opener against Indiana State, student Zachary Spangler won a kicking competition called Kicks for Cash, and it looked like he was the proud owner of a 2-year lease on a car. However, it was not to be. The competition, which was sponsored by nearby Rohrman Automotive, that's right, Rohrman Automotive, had participants kick 20, 30, and 40-yard field goals. Spangler had completed the challenge successfully, but was informed last week he wouldn't be receiving the prize of a car with a 2-year lease. According to Purdue's student newspaper, The Exponent, student journalism at its finest, Spangler stated he received an email from the car dealership saying the video of the challenge was reviewed. That's right, they went to the videotape. And his 40-yard field goal was not kicked in time by 5/100ths of a second.
Oh, my God.
As a result, Spangler was not going to earn the 2-year lease.
Dude, like... Keep going. Keep going. If you don't want to give him the car, don't.
Yeah.
Like, don't offer the car.
It's good advertising to just give a college kid a car.
Yeah.
It's bad advertising
to say you're going to give him a car and then he wins the car and not give him a car.
I understand. Times are tough. In this economy, giving away a car, giving away a lease.
You could just as easily not do the promotion.
That's right. In a video that the dealership sent to Spangler, 4 different angles show him kicking with a 30-second timer at the bottom of the screen. The video reportedly shows the holder placing the ball down with 1.5 seconds to go.
This is horrible. I'm upset.
But Spangler did not connect with the ball until after the clock was at 0.
I am upset. I got booed last year at the Iowa game for not giving the guy the cash, whatever.
Oh,
the dash for cash. I can't remember exactly what happened. He must have went right over the top of it. But I always said, like, you got to pick it up. You know, you got to get it with your hand. You got to pick it up and show me that envelope. Show me that dollar bill. And so you realize that if you're taking it away from you, you're going to take the slings and arrows. You're going to take it. Now, the positive part with FNBO is they do give away that cash.
Sure.
Eventually. It just resets after every game.
Trey Rohrman of Rohrman Automotive. That's right. Rohrman Automotive sent an email to the Exponent over the weekend. Quote, our decision to not award him the grand prize was not personal, but simply out of principle and rules-based. We are disappointed that Zach was led to believe that he did accomplish the challenge. It's not our fault.
They're
he thought he made
blaming
it.
the poor Purdue marketing student.
That's right.
Who has to go out there
That's right.
and get instant replay just to see that he missed it by a 5,000th of a second. Give me a break.
Now, over the weekend.
This is garbage.
Yes.
I'm mad about this.
Many people are, Connor. And in fact, many other car dealerships in the Purdue area are saying, hey, kid, do you want a car?
I figured.
Because we'll give you a car.
Wow. This is a tough day for Rohrman Automotive.
We have an update from Rohrman Automotive. They have reversed course.
It's too late now. You already got another car from everybody else.
Spangler told the Exponent on Tuesday, that would be yesterday, that he had been given the option 2-year lease or $5,000. What would you take in that situation? Just out of curiosity, you're a college kid.
2-year free car?
2-year lease or $5,000?
2 years of free car.
I would think so.
I mean, you're a college kid. I guess you don't need a car that much.
Would I be smart enough to take that as a college kid, or would I just go, $5,000 of drinking money?
I don't know. Maybe 5,000 would be very helpful. Obviously,
he is taking the cash.
Yeah,
and the Kicks for Cash promotion
is over.
Is now changing.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
There will be no clock from now on.
Jeez. Tough spot for everybody to get put in, all because of Roar Man Automotive.
Yes.
All I could think of in situations like this is when Dukes, the dirty hippie, steps up to the. That is one especially dirty hippie. Hey, what's your name? Dukes. All right, we got Dukes.
Hey, we don't have $10,000. Nobody cares.
Don't worry, the beer company will buy it. I just put that up there. We don't have $10,000. And that also happens to him with corn dogs as well.
Yes.
We don't even got corn dogs.
Great movie when Woody Harrelson is on screen. And
the Woody Harrelson parts are good too.
I don't care about him falling in love with Maura Tierney.
I do.
I don't care.
I'm in on Maura Tierney. Team Maura Tierney.
I normally love both those actors. I just didn't find either of them interesting in that movie. We go to Carlsbad Caverns for story number 2. After an absent-minded guest left a bag of Cheetos deep within Carlsbad Caverns, the National Park Service responded with a stern warning. Unsightly trash is not the only issue. They cautioned the garbage could have significant impact on the ecosystem of the caves. The bag of food was dropped in the so-called Big Room, the largest single cave chamber by volume in North America, which takes around an hour to walk around.
Yeah.
Left to fester in the humid cave, the full bag of Cheetos could send a tiny shockwave through the local ecosystem.
Oh.
The processed corn, softened by the humidity of the cave, formed the perfect environment to host microbial life and fungi. Cave crickets, mites, spiders, and flies soon organize into a temporary food web, dispersing the nutrients to the surrounding cave and formations.
See? Don't litter, people.
Molds spread higher up the nearby surfaces. Fruit die and stink, and the cycle continues. Really grave picture just by leaving a bag of Cheetos behind.
This is like Matt Rule scaring his players into thinking they're going to lose to Northern Iowa. It's like, yeah, none of that's actually that bad. It sounds bad when you say it out loud.
Rangers had to spend 20 minutes carefully removing the trash and the mold from the cave's surface.
Now, don't litter, of course.
Yes, obviously.
But do I throw my gum at the window sometimes? I do.
I don't want it sticking around in my car.
Yeah. Throw it as far away from the window as you could possibly get it. Yeah. Stick on somebody else's car.
Finally, we end with a story from TikTok.
Hell yes.
A Carnival cruise ship was undamaged. That's important here. Undamaged after grazing an iceberg in Alaska last week. One passenger took to TikTok, and they always do these videos on TikTok and YouTube. It's like, Patrick Mahomes wouldn't sign my autograph, and now my life is over, or whatever like that.
Sure.
This person is taken to TikTok and said,
I was almost on the Titanic 2.0.
That is exactly right, Connor.
I figured.
The hull of the Carnival Spirit was assessed, and no damages were found after the incident on Thursday. Carnival Cruise Line said,
"You can't be hitting icebergs. I'm sorry. It's just one of the. It's the only thing that people think about when they get on a boat. Really, everybody's seen the Titanic. It's the only way any of us have ever seen a boat go down, and nobody wants to experience that. So you have to stay away from the icebergs."
The ship was able to continue on its 7-day journey without a hitch and is expected to dock in Seattle next week. Passengers and other users of social media veered far into dramatics over the incident anyway. Passenger Cassandra Goski said in a video she shared on TikTok, "It's a Titanic moment. Quote, if we die, it was damn well worth it." That's her quote. But In my head,
If we
she's
die,
saying,
we
if
die.
we die, we die. That's right. That's right. If we die, we die. Oh, we're hitting it, she said while the Spirit struck the ice. Many other nearby passengers crowded around the edge of the side deck to watch. Another passenger on board shared pictures with a meteorologist.
Another one went off the edge and hit his head on the propeller as he flew off the deck.
What would the Titanic look like now? It would just be a bunch of people too stupid to get in the lifeboat because they want to record it on their phone.
Yeah, it would be people doing TikToks. A whole ship full of TikTokers is sinking. That's the other thing.
I'm going to jump out of the catbird seat and hope not to get hit by the propeller. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, you better watch this video. They that's the other thing people do. The cruise industry is very closely connected with the social media influencers as well. So I think for every cruise, they probably have this area of the boat that is just specifically reserved for the TikTokers, of which the boat lets them on for free. I've seen a lot of like, hey, I'm on a bleep 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 cruise this week, and like the whatever Virgin cruise ship is paying for, Carnival, whatever is paying for it. So it's funny that they almost got in a horrifying boat accident with a bunch of TikTokers on board. My harrowing story.
This is my tale.
Yeah.
I'm ready to share my truth.
Everything was okay. That's good. All right, thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. We'll come back with the tweet bag. I do have a couple questions in already. We could use a few more when we return in the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But guess what? First of all, sign up for the VIP club, 1620 the email.
Do that.
You're also going to want to get on it because you get early access into picking for quarter pick'em. That's right. And the tiebreakers are who goes first. So if you get early access, you're going to get a better chance. 10 games, all of them just straight up. And so there might be some people there might be 4 or 5 people who go 10-0 this week.
Bound to happen.
Want to subscribe to 1620 the email, get that early access, and get your picks in on Mondays. That is with us at 1620 the Zone via 1620 the email and 4-quarter pick'em live right now on 1620thezone.com.
the Tweet Bag. You send your questions in, and we answer them. Like no other radio segment ever. It's the Tweet Bag on the Connor Happer Show.
All right, here we go. It's time for the Tweet Bag. We got some questions, and I'm sure we'll get more as we continue on throughout this segment, which will last no more than 20 minutes starting right now. Go.
Okay. We have a email from Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Still a tweet.
Yep. Even if it's an email, it's still a tweet.
If you and Connor lived on adjacent cul-de-sacs, who would you want to be your neighbors? For example, I thought it would be fun to live next door to Shaq and Alice Cooper. Shaq, because he would make sure you had printer ink, car insurance, and he seems to generally be a big kid. Alice, well, he's Alice, and he would watch late night movies with Groucho Marx and bring a 6 of Budweiser. Thanks.
What an email. So we have 2 cul-de-sacs.
I believe you have a cul-de-sac.
I live in one, and you live in one. It's funny. I actually lived in a neighborhood where this was the case. There was there was like back-to-back cul-de-sacs.
Oh wow.
And I lived in one of them. So I get to choose in my cul-de-sac. There's like 4. There was like 5 houses. Right.
Okay.
So there's one of them's me, and who are the other ones? This is like another version of who would you go to dinner with, or who's your who's your golf foursome. Shaq is a really good one.
It is.
I would appreciate living near Shaq.
I would also like to see just how, like, what's he look like in his car when he's driving away, like, just because he's really big.
Just think, like, but Shaq, he's kind of everywhere. He's never really there. You know, Shaq would just be moving around the country. He's doing DJ sets at the Royal Grove or whatever. He's everywhere. So I'd like to have somebody who I don't have to worry about, like, their lawn, when they're gone.
Oh,
or
he's
something
got a
like
guy.
that.
He's got a guy.
You think he's got a guy?
Yeah.
I mean, the first people off my head would be like, Bobby Witt Jr., obviously. Like, I just kind of want to hang out with. Actually, probably Vinny Pasquantino. Maybe Bobby and Vinny could share a house. It seems like a fun place to be. I would go hang out there sometimes, shoot hoops in the front yard. I'd like to have somebody who I could bounce. I mean, lawn related would be good. Somebody who's really good in the lawn, like ag field. That way I could bounce them. Like, what kind of like, I don't know what this fertilizer does. What do I need to do? How many times a year do I need to aerate?
What's this little patch here?
Yeah, like how do I take care of this? I just got to give it some water. Okay, great. But I want to have that for free at my disposal all the time. I'd like to have somebody who's a really big, like, cookout guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have like a big party all the time, but just is really, really capable of getting the smoker out and ripping it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that would be. I don't know. Maybe like I wouldn't trust Gordon Ramsay to, like, make my barbecue ribs.
No,
I don't want, like, a celebrity chef. I don't need people to make me meals. I want every once in a while to stroll over to the house and just be like, hey, I cooked some of these up the other day. Why don't you try them?
Got some extra chops. You in?
Yeah. Maybe like the CEO of Uncrustables.
Oh.
Do you want to be neighbors with the CEO of Uncrustables? Kind of. I do.
Definite poll question.
You walk into that house and you're like, hey, came up with this new flavor, or you could just go with the original. And I'll say, thank you, CEO of Uncrustables. I'll just take the original.
The CEO of Uncrustables, which would be under the Smuckers umbrella.
The CEO of Smuckers.
Mark Smucker.
I want to be neighbors with Mark Smucker.
He has been chair of the board since August of 22.
Okay. He's getting access to that stuff.
He's a young Smucker.
I'd like to be neighbors. I see this guy on TikTok who sells private jets.
Oh. He probably knows a lot of cool people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He knows a lot of cool people, and he probably has access to private jets. I'd like some access to private. This all, of course, like, I want to be neighbors with all these people, but I mostly want their stuff, so I have to befriend them. And I have to prove my worth somewhere.
Yeah. What is Connor bringing to the table?
Yeah. If they want to get any stuff out there in the media, I could help them out. I guess.
Probably actually hate that.
They probably wouldn't. Yeah.
I think I would go.
Dave says, I want to believe the CEO of Smuckers is Mark Smuckerberg. No, it's just Smucker. It's just Mark Smucker, isn't it?
Smuckers, yeah.
Mr. Smucker.
Yeah, Mr. Smucker. No, I'm not going to say it. I would go with The Rock and Freddie Freeman.
The Rock and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
Small cul-de-sac.
Small cul-de-sac.
But it's friendly.
Yeah. Kids running around.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Somebody who's like, no. I don't know who. Maybe somebody with like a kid who's the age of my kid. You know, help that out too.
That's gonna be great because then you don't have to play with the kid.
I'm just thinking. I'm all about practicality or just functionality. That's where I'm going for. All right.
We get an email from Kip.
Hi, Kip.
Both of you, that's you and me, Connor, have been tasked with replacing 3 food staples of Memorial Stadium. You don't have to pick a particular company to support, but you have been asked to pick 3 food options other than pizzas, runzas, and red hot dogs.
I have to. I am the person responsible for killing Valentino's Pizza, red hot dogs, and
I believe someone else has killed it.
Okay,
you are.
I'm the next athletic director.
Yeah, so you don't get the heat.
That's good.
But those are no longer options.
I can't bring those back.
The bridge has been burned.
Oh no, something's gone horribly wrong. I mean, back to Uncrustables. That's not a bad.
Just fling those out.
Yeah,
that's not bad actually.
$2 a pop. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
I mean, Amigos has got to be one of these, right?
Crisp meat burritos. Some, you can get a cup of ranch for an extra 50 cents if you want it.
The poor vendor walking up and down. Oh no, one of my ranches broke open. I'm covered.
What's a good mobile food? Like a taco?
Yeah, that's why I was saying Amigos.
But like an actual taco.
Yeah.
Amigos, you could do the crisp meat burritos. That was what was on my. But like a real life taco.
Okay.
That wouldn't be bad. They sell burgers and pretzels and regular concession item stuff,
sure.
Don't they? So those would already be included in the stadium.
I would boost the visibility of like an Omaha Steaks cheeseburger.
I think they do have those. You just have to walk to go get them. You just have to seek them out yourself. Yeah, that'd be my answer. Uncrustables again. Capri Suns, flinging out Capri Suns.
Yeah.
It would look a lot like this studio. What Josh supplies us with on a daily basis.
That's right. I take care of my guy.
Okay.
Dave has an interesting question here on YouTube.
Hi, Dave.
I got to find it so I can put it on the screen. There we go. In honor of the anniversary of Scott Frost's firing, who was your favorite name on the wheel of coaches?
I don't remember. We'd have to pull up. We'd have to pull up the graphic. We'd have to pull up all of our graphics. You remember when we were doing all the graphics? Yeah. Josh, do you know where those reside? You're a big deleter of things.
I keep a tight inbox, okay?
Yeah. So
I'm looking.
I don't think those are just in the system somewhere.
No.
They would definitely be just out on Twitter, which we've tweeted a lot of things since.
Oh, okay.
Did we do Deion Sanders?
Might have something here. I don't know. I don't see it.
Okay. Did we do Deion Sanders?
We had to have.
That's probably the funniest one.
Yeah,
probably the funniest one.
Same cycle as he weirdly mentioned.
Yeah. I think we had some good. I mean, remember during that whole entire time, I mean, basically starting now until the remainder of the season, people were really going for Mickey Joseph. They were like, it's Mickey or die. Mickey or die. Didn't.
Oh, wait.
Did you get to it finally?
I believe I have found.
Come on, rip off a couple.
Some. Well, see, I did it by
You're taking too long. We got to go.
Initials.
We got to go.
There's Brett Bielema.
Yeah, that's not that funny.
Bill O'Brien.
That's not that funny.
Brad. This one says Brad. Brad White, DC at Kentucky. Why the hell did we do that?
That would be stupid. Not sure.
Just clicking some at random here. Chris Peterson.
Okay. All right.
Dave Dorn.
No, that would have been bad.
Dan Mullen.
That would have been bad.
Gary Patterson.
That might have been okay.
Hugh Freeze.
Bad.
Jim Leonard.
Bad.
Remember Jim Leonard?
Yeah, he was hot for that moment.
Oh, there's Luke Fickle.
Would not have preferred that.
Mina Kimes. We did Mina Kimes one day.
That's your answer right there.
I think so.
All right, to the
here's Prime. Okay, here's Prime.
How'd we grade him?
Gettability 3 out of 5. Fan buzz 3 out of 5. Recruiting 5 out of 5. Success 3 out of 5. Chaos factor 5. Scare the division 2 out of 5. Remember divisions?
Mm-hmm.
Salary demands 3 out of 5. Awkward first presser 4. Readiness for job 2. Fit with Trev 2. Remember Trev Alberts?
Yeah.
A lot has changed since his report card.
Yeah, I would go back and change some of those numbers looking back on it.
Vance Joseph.
All right, to the text line. Here's Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Connor and Josh, thoughts. My son decided he likes sports cards now. However, they are expensive, in my opinion, like $200 to $1,000 or more for a box and $15 for a small pack at Walmart. I don't get it, to be honest. Would you support your kid and buy him a $200 box of cards that contains possibly zero value in it? I have adult friends who do it and claim they make thousands in it selling them, but also spend thousands in them more monthly. Even knew a guy who almost got divorced due to the addiction of them. Whoa. Am I wrong to say, no, sorry, I don't find the value in blowing that much money on a picture of a guy in shiny paper and tell my son to try something more reasonable? Or do I need to tell him to, or do I need to be the cool parent and suck it up for myself and lose thousands of dollars while opening hot garbage?
Wow. So first of all, you seem so against this that it's not going to happen no matter what we say.
Yep.
I would have some follow-up questions. How old is the child? Can the child do chores around the house and earn money for their own card? Maybe get like a pack at a time, not
the kid buy it.
Not one of the big boxes.
Make the kid buy it.
My child got really into hockey last hockey season, so I bought him a couple packs of hockey cards so he can see, oh, that guy plays for the Kraken. I'm really into that.
I wouldn't want to get my kid addicted to sports cards, though. Back when I was collecting cards, I probably have several books full of them. Mm-hmm. They were not $15 a piece, and I didn't care how good the cards were. I just liked the cards.
Yeah, exactly.
I just liked looking at the cards.
It was not a money-making endeavor for me. It was
maybe it can be now, I guess.
It was let me read all about Troy Nixon.
Everything's a get-rich-quick scheme now. Mm-hmm. Everything's like, oh, well, you invest in the stock, you could be a day trader and make thousands of dollars. Like, no, you can't.
Oh, I got a John Kruk.
Yeah, that's all I cared about. It's just I wanted a guy that I wanted Joe Randa, Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
I'm going to be a father for the first time in the early part of 2025.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
As dads yourselves, which piece of advice would you give in prepping to be a dad outside of sleep? Mine's really easy, and I'm sorry to break it to you this way. You can't. There's nothing you could do.
Yeah,
there's nothing you could do.
I got about 2 chapters into a book on parenting, and I said, you know what?
There's nothing you could do.
I think I'm just going to fly by the seat of my pants.
You have to have the basic instinct of loving, well, I guess not. This wouldn't be the case, but like wanting to support your wife, and wanting to help the child's every need, but that comes basic. And so, no, I would say live your life as long as you possibly can until it drastically changes in the coming months. Go out.
Yeah.
Do something.
Live. Damn it.
Yeah. Drink some beer, hang out with friends, go to Vegas.
Definitely like, hey, your instinct is going to be, I got to help the child. Help your wife, help your partner.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. There's that, but like
she's stressed.
What advice do I have to give? It's just you don't know what to do until you are forced with the figuring it out part. It's like you're put in, like you are all of a sudden the head coach of a major college football program and you realize, oh my God, I've only played video games before. I've only played this on a video game. I really don't know what to do.
You got to learn how to win.
But then you just figure it out. It might take, you're basically like Marcus Freeman, Marcus Freeman, not ready to be a major college football coach at Notre Dame, but you hope that he just figures it out in a couple years. That's the advice, I guess.
It sounds like that's bad advice. Like, oh,
it's not even advice. I feel bad.
Like,
it's not even advice.
No, that's the right thing to say to someone.
Yeah, I just want to prepare you for it. That's the best I can.
Yeah.
Poll question from the 402: do you keep a tight inbox?
We'll do that. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 emails in my inbox, and it's driving me crazy. It's too many.
Also, Michael followed up on the question that you had about how old this kid is and how much allowance he gets. He's 9 years old and he gets $10 a week. Well, tell him he's got to save up for a couple years.
Learn the value of a dollar.
Maybe by that point, you'll get over your love to sell baseball cards.
Hey, once a month, I'll take you to Target. We'll get a couple of packs. It'll be a fun time.
Pedro asks, hi, guys. Can you just buy bubblegum baseball cards? I don't know. Can you?
I don't think they put bubblegum in them anymore.
I don't think that exists anymore. Venmo Chris says,
Venmo Chris.
For my sports card guy, as trading card collector myself, it's fun as hell. And as a plus, there will be no money to waste on drugs or alcohol. I am poor, but do have cards to sell if need be. That's a good way to put it.
Instead of like your placenta or other bodily fluids.
Yeah. You don't want
I'll just sell this Bryce Harper.
Bleep, marry, kill, French toast, waffles, pancakes.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, let me write this down.
Kiss, marry, kill, French toast, waffles, pancakes.
Okay. I'm killing pancakes.
I'm marrying pancakes.
I'm going to marry.
I'm bleeping French toast, and I am killing waffles.
I'm going to marry French toast, and I'll bleep a waffle.
Thank you for the question, Brent.
That's a good one. I like that.
It's a good one. John has fatherly advice.
Oh, hi, John.
Absolutely. There's no preparation. However, I do have advice. Get all the projects you think you want done right now.
Oh, yeah.
Car, garage, basement, yard, etc. That's true. Yeah, you're done with that. There's no more of that.
Nope.
Sorry. Your projects are on hold officially. All right. That's Tweet Bag.
Good bag.
Thank you for playing, everybody. One quick update here. We'll get to this when we come back. Patrick Mahomes has been asked about Dylan Raiola.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
Well, find out what he said. Coming back on 1620 The Zone. I feel great that many people have reached out to the show now and they've said, hey, all that stuff you said about being a dad, it's all true. Just honestly, like, you can mentally prepare yourself, but things that you, like, I don't know, just, you'll be all right. Trust me. You'll figure it out. You got it.
It's kind of like wandering around a war zone.
Nobody knows what they're doing. Don't listen to anybody who tries to tell you these things, who tries to tell you any advice. It's like, you'll figure it out. I promise. Maybe I'd be a bad motivational speech giver, but all right. So Patrick Mahomes spoke at his press conference today, and Patrick Mahomes has his whole side story with him right now, and it is he has a weirdo stalker impersonator who plays college football, and his name is Dylan Raiola. So today, Patrick Mahomes was asked about his weirdo stalker cosplayer.
Good question.
Who just happens to be playing quarterback for the University of Nebraska. And here's what he had to say about it today.
I mean, it's cool. Honestly, I was that guy. I grew up watching players. I remember when I would grow up, I loved Alex Rodriguez, played shortstop, and would try to make plays just like him and do stuff like that. And it helped me become the athlete that I am. And so I've it's just telling me I'm getting a little old. I think that's the biggest thing is that you have these guys that are coming up and doing some of the sidearm stuff and everything like that. But I know Dylan. I train with him in the off seasons. Great kid, a great football player, and I think he's gonna make his own stamp on the game. And I think you've seen that early in his career.
Okay.
I don't know if whenever you come in as a
wait, was there more to that?
Yeah, there's like 20 more seconds.
Okay. I'm sorry. Finish it off, Patrick.
Freshman, you want to be on Twitter and be the part of the team. I think he wants it to be about his team, and I think that's the right way to play the quarterback position. Is that it's not about you; it's about going out there and having success as a team, and they've done that so far this year. So even though I think he just kind of wants to push us out and play football and go out there and win football games, I think that's the right way to play the position.
That was as loud as I could get it, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jared. We owe a thank you to Jared Kohler of KCTV5 in Kansas City. He used to be in Lincoln, by the way.
Oh.
And is now in Kansas City. I was laughing at Joel's tweet to us, which when he heard Patrick Mahomes talk, it was hard to not laugh. It was just a seizing Kermit the Frog. Could you play it again? Or did you exit out already? Because I know you like to keep a tight inbox.
I did.
I know. You're a sicko.
What?
Can you give it 5 seconds?
Because I don't have 100 tabs open on my computer.
Just give it 5 seconds. You know we're going to talk about it. Maybe there's something I want to hear from it again. Just click. Just keep it up.
I mean, it's cool. Honestly, I was that guy. I grew up watching players. I remember when I would grow up, I loved Alex Rodriguez, played shortstop, and would try to make plays just like him and do stuff like that. And it helped me become the athlete that I am. And so it's just telling me I'm getting a little old. I think that's the biggest thing is that you have these guys that are coming up and doing some of the sidearm stuff and everything like that. But I know Dylan. I train with him in the off seasons. Great kid, a great football player.
Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that.
Patrick Mahomes is 28 years old.
I know. He's like the elder statesman of football already.
My God, he's 28.
Yeah, this is horrifying for the rest of the NFL, but that's a side topic. I'm glad that he got out there what everybody needs to hear. All these people who are sitting in their dark basements yelling up to their moms to bring the meatloaf upstairs. Meatloaf! Have you seen this kid? He's being a little weird. No, they're friends. They know each other. That makes it not weird, right? Doesn't that make it less weird?
Less weird, absolutely.
Do you think Dylon is taking it too far? Do you think he had to do the jump thing? And is that where he crossed the line?
It's probably a bit much. Because at a certain point, you have to have your own identity. But good guy to emulate it.
Sorry, I was just trying to get a Dylon drop in there. Josh, can you give me the power? Thank you.
Dylon. Now, does Dylon have a girlfriend or a wife? And what are her views on things?
That would be the next step.
How far are we going with this?
That would be the next step to this. I'm glad that Patrick Mahomes has now commented on this. That way we can stop calling Dylan Raiola a weirdo on the internet. That would be great.
Maybe lay off on the fat jokes.
Have you been laughing at the Patrick Mahotels?
I have. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
That one always gets
Also,
me.
every time I hear that guy's voice, I can't I can't get over it. It's so funny.
I think he's gonna make his own stamp on the game, and I think you've seen that early in his career.
That's the part owner of my baseball team.
See, I kept it up.
Thank you. That was good. Now you could well, I want to see how long you could leave it up. I want to challenge you. I'm not, and I'm going to tell you this, Josh. I'm not going to talk about it again. We're not going to do anything else with it the entire show. But I want to see how long you could physically restrain yourself from not having that tab open. You're
tell an evil genius.
You tell me when you close it. You tell me you say when the urge overcomes you, you just break right into the show and you say, Connor, I lost it. I had to close it.
I have.
Or has that already happened?
No, it is up. I have 6 tabs open, but it could so easily be 5.
Too many tabs. So you let me know. Scott tweets into the show.
Hi, Scott.
Poll question: how long can Josh leave it up? It's a good question.
It's not in the form of a yes/no question.
Hey, man, I was trying to be like Gary Sheffield in my backyard, flinging my bat around all the time, but I never tried to be Gary Sheffield.
Oh,
that's why they think he's Dylan Ray. That's why they think Dylan Rayola is a weirdo.
I thought I was Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, I bet your swing was that smooth too.
Yep. And if you've seen me in public, you know I have no swag. But oh man, I wore my hat backwards, and I thought, well, this is enough.
Yep. Did you go up and try to swing left-handed? I really wanted to be like Barry Bonds or Ken Griffey Jr., but I couldn't pull it off because I couldn't swing clean enough left-handed. I would try sometimes, but I couldn't swing clean enough left-handed in my backyard. So I had to be Gary Sheffield.
He wore a backwards hat.
Or Jeter.
Jeez.
You know, Jeter would kind of hold the bat over his head and stuff like that. Well, never have we seen that actually play out in major college football or major college baseball or college whatever. Like, never have we seen this close of a comparison. Mm-hmm. This guy not only looks like him, he acts like him. He does, well, I don't know if he acts like him, but he does the things that he does on a football field. And it's actually playing out in front of our eyes. 6 million people watched the game on Saturday, and they all saw it. Not just one person in your backyard. This is the first time we've ever seen this. Mustache Adam writes in.
Hi, Mustache Adam.
Hap, there's at least one obvious reason why you couldn't be Gary Sheffield. But I could fling the bat around like he could, especially considering the bat weighed about an ounce and it was plastic.
Sure.
Just, do one of those things.
Well, yeah.
But no, I'm not black.
Oh, I thought it was because Gary Sheffield's 5'11".
Oh, well, I'm not 5'11" either, but I was probably, I don't know, like 5 foot tall back then. It's like 5 foot tall version of Gary Sheffield. I don't know that Dylan and Patrick have the same measurables, although it doesn't look that far off, to be honest with you. All but right. I'm glad that's out there now that we can stop calling Dylan a weirdo. We can stop calling Dylan a weirdo. It's not weird anymore. They're friends. They know each other. They train with the same person.
I have the measurables. Patrick,
you have another tab up? Yes.
I have 2 more tabs open. It's disgusting over here.
This is horrible for Josh.
Patrick Mahomes, 6'2", 225.
Uh-huh.
Our young baby boy Dylon.
Yep.
6'3", 229.
So the difference is that the Nebraska website is more specific.
This is Google.
Google. Oh, okay. Thank you, Google. Appreciate that. Bruce writes in.
Hi, Bruce.
He sounds like Miss Kermit. It'd be better if Brittany sounded like Miss Piggy. Do we have any of that? Any sound bites? I don't think so. I don't think we want to go making that comparison. It doesn't sound very nice, does it?
It really doesn't.
Cody writes in, poll question, can Josh keep it up the rest of the show?
That is phrased as a yes/no question. I don't like it for some reason.
Text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
At least Dylon's brother isn't a weirdo like Patrick's brother.
We don't know that yet, to be fair.
Who knows? Who knows? Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
On a more serious note, it's probably a bit much as a fan, but isn't it a good thing that we're comparing him to Patrick bleeping Mahomes? Hell, one year ago, we were wondering if we could get the football from A to B. This is a good thing, even if people are annoyed by it. I don't think anybody actually cares about this in Nebraska. It's just other people who are now going to be exposed to Nebraska for the first time. Mm-hmm. They're going to realize that this guy's a thing, and they're going to start making comments about it. And then if they look into it further, they'll realize, oh, there's a lot of things that they do similarly.
Now, as we grow with young Dylon, I'd like to learn more about him and realize that, oh, he's not just a carbon copy.
Do you think he can?
Patrick Mahomes.
So, do you think he can shed this? Do you think he can get rid of it? Not that it's something that he wants to do.
I mean, if he talks more, if he does a profile with, I don't know, maybe Mitch over at the Athletic,
could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But many people have profiled him already, Josh.
But here in Nebraska,
Jacob Adilla writes in.
Hi, Jacob.
He tweets at producer_Josh.
Oh, no.
I have 30 tabs open currently, and that's just in my main browser window. I have another open as well. So Jacob, I believe, and I've seen Jacob's computer before. On his, like, when he pulls up his internet browser, he has like 100 bookmarks.
Oh, see, I can't bookmark it.
I know.
I can't.
I know. Is it still up? For the record?
It is.
Okay.
It is for the record.
All right.
6 tabs.
You just let me know when that thing goes down. You let you let me know. We might have to have you pull up another tab in the next segment here, because let's get into your AI work that you've done today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did Grok say about Nebraska being back? So we'll get to that on the other side. Also, what's the next step for Nebraska's defense? Robin Washut will join us at the top of the hour. Plenty to come in the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, so we all love the new Twitter, which is X. And if you are if you choose to make yourself more popular on the social media platform, you can buy your way to it if you'd like. And when you do so, you get access to a thing called Grok, and it's Twitter's AI assistant. And we have that with 1620 The Zone at 1620 The Zone.
A very good Twitter account.
And so Josh has asked Grok some questions. Josh, what's Grok have to say?
Well, I asked one question of Grok.
Okay.
And it was, is Nebraska back?
All right.
That's all I typed in.
I'm curious.
Now, I thought it would be confused by the verbiage.
But it wasn't?
It was not at all.
Wow, it understood the question.
Yes.
Okay, that's important.
It gave me quite the essay, actually.
All right, let's hear it. Grok.
Now, I've eliminated the it gives a lot of context. Like, Nebraska was a great football program in the 90s, winning many national championships, blah, 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 blah. It goes on for like 6 paragraphs about...
Wow, 6 paragraphs?
Yeah, maybe even longer. I've taken just the relevant parts here, and I printed them out on my hard copy.
Oh, of course. See, now you don't even have to open a tab for it.
If you have hard copies, you don't need a tab. You can see it's like 4 paragraphs here.
Yeah, you got some bullet points there. Okay.
From a performance perspective, Nebraska has shown signs of life with an impressive start to the season and strategic recruitment suggesting a potential turnaround. From a cultural and fan perspective, there's a palpable excitement and belief among fans and some analysts that Nebraska is on its way back to being a significant player in college football, though how far back remains to be seen. Objectively, Nebraska has made strides, but whether they are back in the sense of returning to their historical dominance or even consistent Big Ten championship contention, time will tell. The foundation might be set, but the full structure of a powerhouse program needs more than just a promising start or a stellar recruit. In summary, while there's substantial enthusiasm and some evidence suggesting Nebraska is improving, declaring them back in the fullest sense might be premature. However, for fans and those following college football closely, the signs are encouraging, and Nebraska's narrative is certainly one to watch in the coming seasons. Wow. My God, why are we allowing AI into our lives?
Yeah, no, we have to stop this immediately. That's definitely my takeaway as well. We should let Grok host this show one day.
Absolutely. Well, I saw Pat McAfee.
It only costs $10 a year.
Right. They typed in, what are your takeaways from week 1 in the NFL? And I said, well, I can do this. I didn't realize it was this big, long diatribe.
I would imagine that Grok gets its takes as from like a conglomeration of everybody's tweets, right?
Right. And it pulls it all together, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good little information piece to have. And so the bottom line answer to the question was no, Nebraska is not back. But watch out. They might be back.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually correct, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
They're not quite back yet. They haven't had that we're back win, right? But then you get into the question of what is back. What does it mean to be back? The last time somebody publicly proclaimed that Nebraska was back was Bo Pelini after that Holiday Bowl. Nebraska's back and we're here to stay. That 33-0 shutout of Arizona, which we referenced earlier today on the show. Nebraska's back and we're here to stay. And ever since then, they have not been back. But they did go to, they've gone to 2 conference championship games in the 2 years after that. And really nothing else since. So in order to be back, that means you would have to been gone. Now, Nebraska has been gone. So they meet that requirement.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So then what does being back mean? Is it competing for a conference championship? Is it having a little number next to your name? Is it being in the college football playoff conversation? And when might Nebraska cross the threshold of being back? Thank you, Grok, for this very interesting topic. Maybe you could ask Grok what being back means. but I wouldn't want to hear Grok's answer to that.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll ask it anything. I think this is kind of a good bit.
Andy says, I wonder how Grok would do in a sports book. Grok,
Okay.
what's your gambling record, Grok?
Okay, let's.
Is it Grok or Grok?
I think it's Grok because it's Gronk without the N.
Yeah.
But that's my sports brain.
Grok.
Who will win between Alabama and Wisconsin? A question we're asking you in this week's 4-quarter pick'em. Have you signed up? Are you on the email list?
So listen to Grok. Let's see.
It's loading. Based on the information available up to September 11, 2024, Alabama is favored to win against Wisconsin in the
I don't care who's favored. I care who you're picking, Grok.
We'll go to the results. There's 5 bullet points. We'll skip those. However, Wisconsin does have home field advantage and a history of performing well in September games. Their defense has been noted as a strong suit, which could potentially keep the game closer than expected if they manage to control the tempo with their ground game. Yet the consensus, both from analytical models and public betting, points towards Alabama as the likely winner. This prediction is based on current data analysis and public sentiment as of the information cutoff. But in sports, upsets can always happen, and Wisconsin has the potential to make the game competitive.
I have asked, actually, I've received a screenshot. Somebody asked another AI model if Nebraska is back.
Oh.
So this is the Bing AI, the Meta AI with Llama 3.1.
Okay.
Don't ask questions.
Great.
Is Nebraska back? Here's the answer. Nebraska football is looking strong this season with a 2-0 record and a promising young quarterback in Dylan Raiola.
That's right.
The team's roster has been finalized, and the fans are excited to see how the new players will fit in. With a tough schedule ahead, including games against Ohio State and USC, Nebraska will have to bring their A game if they want to make a run for the playoffs. But for now, things are looking up for the Cornhuskers. Less specific than Grok.
Mm-hmm. Really dialed in was Grok.
That's I guess that's Facebook's AI.
Oh.
Facebook's AI. Interesting. So I guess Facebook's AI is the same as like Instagram's AI, and it's all. What is being back though, Josh? Like when would you feel comfortable saying like Nebraska is back? If they do what? They're back.
Excellent question.
And keep in mind, we use back very weirdly in today's system. People think things are back all the time.
Unironically, I would say like consistently in the top 15.
Now this is, so you're talking about year over year, like you're talking about this is a years long process.
Right.
But like, is there a specific thing that they can do to say, all right, they've accomplished these things. They've accomplished the prerequisites to being back. And then they did the thing.
Defeat a top 5-10 team.
It's beat somebody you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And I think in this case, it's Ohio State, right? I mean, that would be being back.
If Nebraska beat USC, would we come on the radio Monday and go, Nebraska's back?
I don't know.
Depends on how good USC looks by that time.
If Nebraska's 7-0 going to Columbus and they lose that game like on a last second deal or like they lose on a touchdown or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, they're back. I've seen enough.
Okay.
They're back. So close loss to Ohio State or of course beat Ohio State. Then you're back. Even though that's probably not that fair of a bar. Like all that we're looking for around here is for Nebraska to just be like halfway decent again. Like, can we win 9 games?
No moral victories.
Can we win 8 games? Can we go to a bowl game? Can we go to the, maybe go to the playoff? Can we just go to a Cheez-It Bowl or something like that?
Hell yeah.
There's varying levels of back. There's varying stages, I guess, of back. Maybe that's the answer to our question here. Josh.
Connor.
Should we do some I have one more question about Coach Prime. Should we save that? Let's talk to Robin.
Okay.
And then we'll open it up on Coach Prime again because everybody wants to talk about Coach Prime.
Everybody.
It's the topic of once again, this all played out exactly how I thought it would.
Our lives, topic of our lives.
Travis Hunter goes on a podcast and says some things about the environment from this past weekend. We'll get to that after we talk to Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com coming up on 1620 The Zone.
the biggest basketball coaching convention of.
Gonna work on your stroke while you looking.
What?
You don't want them there? Yeah, I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washut.
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
I took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washut, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
That's right. We're joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Robin, good afternoon. How are you?
What's up? Good. How are you?
Good. I was I didn't know what I was going to get in this email from Seamus this morning, but it said opening night set for October 4th in the rail yard. And I thought, oh, that sounds fun. That's a good idea. I think the opening night thing kind of ran its course post Rick Ross, and now we're moving it over across the street. This is a good idea.
Yeah, well, the real impetus behind this is that you're going to see kind of like what football did with that open 1890 public practice. They're going to do stuff like that with basketball, to where the scrimmage will be like its own separate event, and that'll be a 1890 driven thing where they'll be able to sell tickets for it and all that sort of stuff. And then like the fan interaction, like meet the team type thing, will be the free events where there's not actually any basketball being played. It's more just a kind of an interactive fan experience type thing. So you're going to probably get two separate events going forward. They're still working out the logistics on one this year for the NIL scrimmage deal. There was some talk that they're going to try to work something out in Grand Island, but apparently they couldn't get things figured out. And now I think they're kind of exploring different venues, and probably you'll see something likely happen in Lincoln at some point. Probably my guess is sometime in October, maybe over the bye weekend. But again, the logistics are still kind of getting figured out there. But that's where I see this thing moving going forward, where the opening night will still exist. It'll just be a much more toned down event where fans can get a little more face-to-face with players, and then the scrimmage will be its own separate deal.
It's cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think that's a pretty cool deal, and it should be good for, depending on the weather, obviously, should provide some pretty cool images for Nebraska basketball going forward. Have you so we have this, but we also don't have the Big Ten schedule yet. Unless of course you're John Rothstein. Have you texted John Rothstein yet to get some nuggets about Nebraska's schedule?
Well, the ones that he's tweeted, I already knew about. I knew that they were going to play. The one thing, he had the date on the Indiana game. I did not have a date for it, but I knew that they were going to play Indiana at home and Michigan State on the road, their first two December Big Ten games. Beyond that, haven't heard a whole lot. I saw somewhere there's a trip maybe to Oregon in February, but beyond that, really haven't seen anything. And from what I've been told, the Big Ten men's schedule is done. They're now just... It
has to be, right? It's September.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was done like last week. And the issue is they're still trying to figure out the women's side of it. And they're going to release it all at once and do some big BTN schedule release show. But I think when they do release it, you probably won't see TV times, or networks associated, because they still have to have the network draft for those games. So it'll have the dates, and at least we'll have an idea of like when they play, but times are still, and TV networks will still be determined. Everyone assumes it's going to come out at some point this week. So if it doesn't happen today, you would hope by tomorrow or Friday at the absolute latest. But what I've heard is the holdup is they're still trying to kind of organize things on the women's end. And my thought behind that is that because there's so much more interest in women's basketball, they're trying to,
I guess,
incorporate
find some
that
open windows
into more of their prime time viewing windows. So I think that's probably the reason for the holdup. And again, once I think they finish things up on the women's side, they'll drop both at the same time, and they'll have their big DTN extravaganza with it.
I can't wait. Yeah, randomly tomorrow, BTN will come on and say, hey, look, programming alert. We're actually going to do live television for an hour and tell you about all the schedules. So that's really exciting. Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Okay, football wise, we've talked about this idea, Robin, this week, and I think you'd agree was sort of the perfect game for a coach, the perfect result for a coach. Rules got their attention now after kind of what happened in the second half. How much do you think of what Matt Rule has said this week is sort of like a challenge to, number one, I think keep his guys focused on the task ahead and not look ahead. But in other places to kind of, even if they have a big lead like it was in the Colorado game, to keep people kind of motivated. Like that's how it feels to me right now from Rule, as he knows they're going into a little bit of a lull at least for this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, but at the same time, he's not saying anything that isn't true. Like they've got a serious issue at kicker right now that they got to get figured out
for sure,
and not just their kicking game, but their long snapping. But there's an operational situation there that they desperately need to figure out, because you're not going to be up or win every game by 3 scores, and those missed field goals and block punts and big kickoff returns are going to cost you games if you don't get that end of it figured out. So I think everything he's saying on that point is absolutely 100%. And then, the real kind of interesting and maybe just as, I don't know, it's just as concerning, but concerning nonetheless, stuff is about the receivers. And just like, not only are they not blocking well on the perimeter, but like, credit to Aaron Murray and his vidcast that he did, where even before the Colorado game, he noted how, Nebraska's receivers were slow getting out of their breaks and really kind of left some plays on the field by not running their routes the way they probably should have, or finding the open zones or whatever it may be. And, you kind of watched that play out in the Colorado game. That was a continuation. That's 2 weeks in a row now where, they've had some unexpected issues with the performance of their wide receivers. It's supposed to be, the most dynamic and, deep and talented group they have on the offense. So, that's something they got to get figured out too, where if guys aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, yeah, you may be an extremely talented player, but, if you're not playing to your potential, you got to find somebody else who will. So I think that's a challenge this week is, you can't just have starting spots be guaranteed no matter what they do. Like you got to earn them. And so hopefully that kind of creates a little bit of competition and pushes some guys to maybe elevate their game a little bit more starting this week. So, but again, Nebraska's 2-0. They've had 2 lopsided victories and have looked pretty darn good in the process. So it's hard to nitpick too much, but at the same time, they are not a perfect team. They have some pretty glaring flaws right now that they've been able to work through comfortably so far, but things are going to get real for them here in a few weeks. Once Big Ten play starts rolling, I mean, shoot, less than 2 weeks now, they could have a top 25 matchup at home against Illinois. So like they've got, a short amount of time to try to figure out some issues that, again, haven't seemed overly big right now through the first 2 games, but could be detrimental if they aren't fixed quickly.
I don't think there would be, just kind of playing off that idea for a second of, I think most of the focus kind of went on Banks and Nair, whether it's missing a block on the perimeter or getting into routes fast. Those are the guys that so much optimism was kind of surrounded around this offseason. I don't think there's like this world where they go away from those guys. At the same time, there's going to be opportunity coming up on Saturday for more guys to get in to create some sort of depth there. So there's a balance. I don't know what it is, because like I said, I can't see them. I can't see them moving away from those top 2 wide receivers where there was so much optimism before the year.
Yeah, I mean, they're best guys. Like, there's no denying that. They're the starters for a reason. But at the same time, and it's not just them. Like, I think they're the obvious guys that you point to because they play the majority of the snaps. And the fact that they are the biggest, most physical receivers that they have, like, that was supposed to be a strength, was that type of size on the perimeter was going to open up the playbook in a major way to allow you to do some different things you just couldn't do last year because of your personnel. So I'm with you. Like, they're too good to just, like, okay, you're not blocking well, we're benching you. But at the same time, like maybe you give more opportunities to guys that are blocking and guys that are running their routes at full speed or getting to where they need to be or whatever it may be. Like there has to be some element of consequence if you don't do things to the level that's expected. And they use the word standard every single time you talk to them. And I think there needs to be a standard in that room, not just for how talented you are, but how you execute on any given play, on any given assignment.
Robin Washut of Husker Online is with us. Are any of those, like, is there anything that we can nitpick through the first couple games defensively where we could say, wow, this needs to get better or else? Like, is there anything that comes to your mind on that?
Not really.
No.
I don't really put any stock into the UTEP game because they didn't do anything. They ran the most vanilla-based defense possible and still completely controlled the game. They absolutely dominated Colorado exactly the way that you had hoped. In fact, they thought they were probably going to do even a better job. Matt Rule thought they would give up less than 10 points. So, that shows you what they think of their capabilities. And really through 2 games, I think that they've met that and then some. So no, this weekend will be interesting just because it's a different test. We'll see how they respond to a much different style of offense. I don't have any worries of how they're going to respond, but at least it's another gauge of how they're going to play against a different style of offense and one that's probably going to be a little bit more regular once they get into league play. So, it's kind of a constant evolution, or evaluation. I mean, but so far it's hard to be overly critical with anything.
Are you so you mentioned the Illinois game in there, and not to skip ahead too much, but it is coming up in just 9 days. I guess how much more bothered or worried should Nebraska fans be about Illinois than they were at the beginning of the season?
And that Kansas game was a really big win for them.
Yeah. And
that shows you that they've got something to work with here. I'm not like overly concerned with anything they have to do on offense, but that's a Bielema team. They do enough on offense and they play really tough physical defense. And, Nebraska hasn't faced anything like that, at least from the defensive side. Colorado had some good athletes, but for the most part, especially early on, Nebraska was able to dictate the line of scrimmage. So that'll be kind of the next step in how you evaluate this Nebraska offense is, how they handle playing a good Big Ten defense. And, I think the fact that Illinois got that win, they're playing with some confidence now. They're going to come in to Lincoln thinking that they can win that game. So, that's going to be a really good test for them. The fact that it's a Friday night game actually, I think, works out pretty well in Nebraska's favor. You don't have to worry about the stadium not being dialed up. It should be a great atmosphere and all that. And so you would hope that could be a pretty significant X factor for them. But again, this weekend will be a nice warm up for what they're going to see in that Illinois game, just in terms of a physicality standpoint.
All right, Robin, appreciate it as always. We'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. See you.
Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. In the NFL, the Rams have placed Puka Nacua on the injured reserve. So sorry to you fantasy basement dwellers.
That's sorry to Scott Frost as well.
Yeah, but they have a relatively deep wide receiver core there. Tyler Johnson came in and made some nice plays. Former Gopher.
Yeah, they usually go.
Minnesota. Yeah, they'll be okay. Cooper Kupp healthy back, but now you lose Puka Nacua. We haven't seen really any healthy Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp at the same time at the peak of their powers. So it's sad. Michael said, I thought you were going to say that they have promoted Scott Frost. No, the Rams have placed Puka Nacua on IR. So what does that keep him out? At least through week 6 or 8? I don't know how the IR works in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, it's weird now.
It's not a season-ending
thing.
Or doesn't have to be, I guess. But I think it's through, I want to say 6. I'm going to bet that it's 6, Josh. Were you able to find an answer?
What happened? Not as quickly as I would like.
What happens if you put a player on IR?
Will miss. Will miss at least 4 games. Okay, that was my guess.
4 games. Okay. So that keeps about through week 5, I guess, in this scenario. Josh, how are your tabs doing?
I have 6 of them still.
Oh my. You're just boiling over there?
I'm just choosing not to acknowledge it. Like it's not even there. It's no big deal.
All right, coming back. We'll hear from Travis Hunter, who
Hunter's gonna be on the show?
Travis Hunter, yep, he's coming up.
Technically.
And you'll hear his voice on this show. Also, what's gonna happen with Coach Prime? We've talked about this for a long time now. Is he gonna be here at the end of this year? What's the exit strategy? Does he leave on his own accord? Does he, like, if you think he's going to leave, how does he leave? And where does he go? What does he do?
An amicable split.
Soon enough, this will all be out in front of us. And maybe that process has already begun. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Earlier today, we were making fun of college basketball tweeters for tweeting about college basketball.
Not now.
Not now. In the second week of September.
Yeah. Not now, Johnny.
Here's a tweet for John Fanta. There's so much to like about Indiana's roster. Strong transfer ads. Welcome back a couple studs and Malik Renault and Mackenzie Mbako, and bolstered their front court greatly with Omar Ballo. They got him. Wow. Remember him from Arizona?
Yeah.
Assembly Hall is going to be hosting plenty of marquee games. -- awesome for CBB. Thanks, Fanta.
Coming off.
Yes, I'll check in later. I appreciate you being there.
Coming off their first trip to the Elite Eight since 1980. Look for Clemson to be a tournament team again. Chase Hunter and Ian Shiflin are back.
Jacob Padillas listening to the show right now is like, you guys are making yourselves sound like idiots. Guess what? I love college basketball. I love it dearly. I love it deeply and dearly. I love it more than most.
But
I don't
those
love
Tigers,
it. I don't love it enough to care about it on September 11th.
Jacob Bigelow has entered the chat. And y'all call me a sicko.
Yeah, that's gross. That's disgusting. Although Jacob did a pretty sick tweet yesterday, like disgusting tweet yesterday.
Which one? Which Jacob?
About Bigelow.
Okay.
About the basketballs that they're using at practice.
Oh.
Yeah, Nebraska put out a video and they're using the stupid NCAA tournament bright orange pumpkin balls now at practice.
Oh, the tournament balls?
Yeah, the tournament balls. Yeah. And he's like, it looks like Nebraska is going to the EX5 whatever 3000 basketball. I'm like, all right, come on. No more.
Look,
no more college basketball.
Just own it.
I love basketball. Some have said that it's better than football.
Yes.
But not on this day. Nebraska's 2-0. They're number 23 in the country. Shut up about college basketball. I don't want to hear it. I asked Robin a question about college basketball. I put him in a bad position. I'm sorry.
Yes, too.
I'm sorry. I was just watching a NBC Sports on the gram.
As one does.
They put out every Dylon Raiola completion from Nebraska's dominant win over Colorado. By the way, they keep saying words like that.
Yeah.
Dominant. Nebraska dominated. One thing I've noticed this year, Nebraska, their receivers are, well, I mean, a lot of this is because the quarterback is actually good and puts it in the correct place and makes throws. But some of those screens and some of that moving stuff they do, and Dylan throws it out into the flat and whatever, like some of that is happening very, very Nebraska's. I got to give credit to Nebraska's running backs and wide receivers. They must have repped that a ton. They've gotten really good at catching those balls.
Yeah.
It might seem easy, but it happens so boom, boom, and you're moving all at the same time. Like Nebraska's receivers have caught the ball while in motion. Not like literal, well, they've done that too, but not like literally in motion, like going in motion, but while moving a lot this year, which I don't know that that's different than most years, but it seems like it is because Nebraska has a functional real life quarterback. Let's go to Travis Hunter, Josh. Let's see what he's got cooking. Both Travis and Shador have had their podcasts. I think this one is specifically called the Travis Hunter Podcast.
Good title.
It's like the Connor Happer Show. Which is better, the Connor Happer Show, the Travis Hunter Podcast?
Well, one's a show and one's a podcast.
So you're saying it's like apples to oranges?
Well, I guess they're both podcasts, but one's
only
a show.
One's a show.
Yeah.
I guess you could call the podcast a show too.
Well, if it was a show, you'd call it a show.
Maybe it's called the Travis Hunter Show and I just messed it up. Anyway, this is the Travis Hunter Show or podcast where Travis Hunter gets on there and says things. Here's what he had to say about the environment he played in at Nebraska.
Actually, it is the Travis Hunter Show.
It said they're both shows. There you go.
Break down the game, Nebraska game. They came out fast. They hit us in the mouth. We ain't had no response. That's pretty much what happened. And Nebraska's a good team, and they beat us fair and square. And we just got to come out and do better. We got to play Colorado football, and that's not Colorado football.
No discredit to the team. Good team. They played good ball. But I want to give more credit to their fan base and the way they got their stadium set up. They give you hell from the time you step foot out your locker room to the time you get to the field.
That environment was top 10.
Yeah, I got to give it to them.
The little light show in the fourth quarter, that was good too. I didn't even gonna lie, that was a good little show, boy. That fans was loud on third down when you break the huddle, when you get in the huddle. I can't even think to myself how loud it was. Yeah, shout out to Nebraska.
Let me say this. I like Travis Hunter. I'm team Travis Hunter. I'm in on Travis Hunter.
Seems like a good guy. One little broadcasting tip: take the grill or veneers out when you're doing a show like this.
Why?
Just kind of seemed like he couldn't really open his mouth all the way. Kind of like he was doing like Kanye's The Wire or something.
That's just how the kids talk these days, Josh. I don't know.
Just a little broadcasting.
Have you ever heard them talk on TikTok? They're like speaking a whole different language over there.
But that felt good. That felt good hearing those words.
He was very nice.
Yes.
He was very complimentary, and he had a nice game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Nebraska did a pretty good job with him defensively. I thought he was more of a factor on the defensive side of the ball, where he did great. Even though he had a pretty good game offensively as well. And Travis and Coach Prime, Travis Hunter and Coach Prime, each have kind of given Nebraska their flowers. Shedeur more just blaming his offensive line. But that's okay.
That's probably a trend. Connor, can I close this window now?
It's hitting you? A
little bit.
You're sick of it?
A little bit.
You can.
It's like right towards the end of it's like by the minimize, and like I've got so many tabs open that it's
you could close it. Would that take a half hour?
No, the Patrick Mahomes one will stay up.
The
Travis Hunter.
Oh, you didn't want there to be another window.
Yeah.
On
I
top
don't need 3 Twitter tabs open.
I do. Okay. So I assume you already did that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Props to him for showing some class, more so than his quarterback or coach. No, his coach has actually been okay.
Yeah.
Dion has eaten the L.
He has.
He's taken the L, and he was basically like on Saturday night, like they beat us up. Like what are you supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I think that's the way to take it. Honestly,
I think it's his only option.
Yeah,
Did I expect him to go that route? No, I did not.
So I think they've handled it pretty well. Pedro writes in.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. The difference between Husker team and the Colorado team, a loss to Michigan last year, had them getting their butts chewed out in practice on Sunday. A loss to Nebraska has the Buffs having a nice relay race between the offensive defensive players, laughing and joking around. That is the difference between the head coaches. I'm glad we have rule GBR. Is that what they're doing at practice? They're running relay races?
Fun.
I saw the Florida State squirt gun practice clip, but that's all I've seen. Steve writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Steve.
Poll question: do you need 3 Twitter tabs open?
No, you don't.
That Josh doesn't. That much is for sure. Also, text from the 757 before we move on to this Coach Prime topic.
Hi, 575.
757. Whoa, Josh. That is offensive. Some people identify as people with comically large and sometimes shiny teeth.
No.
All right. You're not inclusive. Uninclusive Josh, I guess.
No.
Only he's uninclusive when people are doing podcasts. He's the director of audio.
That's right.
He's the director.
I don't. The video is. I don't care. I'm hearing it. It hits the ear. Just open your mouth more.
All right. So we all think that Coach Prime's out, right? He's leaving. He's gone after this year. Whatever happens, he's not the coach at Colorado in 2025, right? Shedeur's gone. Shiloh's gone. Prime's gone.
Dion Jr.
And Travis Hunter's gone.
Recording videos.
That's all gone too.
Still on campus.
That would be funny if he stayed.
I just really like it here, guys.
Can you buy me a new cell phone? Can you buy me a camera, maybe, instead of just having a cell phone all the time? What's going to happen? How's this going to go? And because we talked about it yesterday in the crossover, you're hearing this more and more now of people who were in the Dion hive who are now like, boy, I just am not getting what I thought I was going to get here, and I don't really see a way out. What happens if they lose to CSU on Saturday night? It's going to be ugly. It's going to get ugly fast.
Jumping ship.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they could take a loss to Nebraska because it's been done so many times, but CSU? Oh.
You can't lose back-to-back rivalry games.
No, in a 2-week span where people are starting to jump off the,
national network television.
People are jumping off like they jumped off the Titanic, Josh.
Yes.
They're jumping off. So I don't know how this ultimately goes, but I mean, I definitely don't think he gets fired, right? I think the athletic department has tied themselves to him for better or for worse. But now you sort of wonder, okay, like, does he start firing coaches around him? But the question that I've always had with him is how badly if you believe the idea that he is doing all of this to promote his sons, which I'm not, it could be true. If you believe that he's doing all of this to promote his sons, right? He's taking this job at Colorado. He's given his son a primetime spotlight. A lot of people watch him, and it's worked, right? He might be the number 1 pick in the draft. He might be a top 10 pick in the draft. Whatever. Like, it has worked. Would it have worked if he was at Jackson State? Probably not. He brought Travis Hunter with him. They've got prime time. Like, he might be a top 10 pick in the draft. But if you believe that he's doing all this to help promote his son, and do you believe that he cares enough to fight for it, right? To try and fix the problems that they had. Because what he did this last year, during the season last year and during this offseason, was fire a whole bunch of people around him and bring a whole bunch of people, but not new people in, people that he's known, people that he's friends with in the college football space, to once again continue to help promote his son. Everything is sort of geared toward, well, we have to get Shedeur going. We have to get Shedeur his stats. Once again, I repeat, Nebraska dared them. They got a transfer from Ohio State, Dallin Hayden, who's not going to be out this week, by the way. Nebraska hurt him too. Dallin Hayden, who I thought looked fine during the game. He popped a run or two, like 7 yards, and I'm like, wow, Colorado could do that if they wanted to. And then they just didn't. So Nebraska was daring them to run the ball, and they didn't. I wonder why. And I wonder if that plays into the idea of the coach only being there to promote his sons. So if you believe that, then you probably don't believe that he's willing to kind of stick around and make this right. So I ask you, how does this all end?
Very messy, right?
And if you believe all that, you definitely don't believe he's going to be there beyond this year.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if it has to be messy. Maybe he just says, I'm out. That was fun. I gave it a try.
In Colorado,
try again, Colorado.
Fight to keep him, because why would they?
I don't know. Would they? Colorado, apparently, if you hear from any Buffs fan over the last 2 years, they tell you, oh, trust me, I'm good with this. This is awesome. We're relevant. Did you see what we did before?
No, I didn't see.
Once again, to Josh's point yesterday that he made was, is it better to stink in anonymity, or is it better to stink out loud? They have stunk out loud, right? And they thought they were tricked into believing that they were going to get wins, and it was, there were wins that were going to come as a result of this, and they have not gotten those wins. And so now they're just clung to the idea of, we're relevant. 5 million people watch us on TV. We're relevant. I got bad news for those people.
I guess the messiness is directly correlated to their record this year.
Sure.
How does everyone feel at the end? Do they feel like they got it back on track, or did it slowly or quickly implode? Because
we're on the verge of that right now. We're on the verge of that right now.
They were straining.
I text from the we got a bunch of texts, not so surprisingly, on this subject. For the 402, Dion will go from we coming to we going.
Bye-bye.
Good one. From the 402, I think the real test is, would he ever sit Travis Hunter because it was best for the team? Never. That's why he's all about himself and his play. There's no reason to sit Travis Hunter anyway. He is the best player on the team. I wouldn't want to put him on. But keep in mind, I would apply this to this week for CU. They are a team that was already pretty thin, and they're beat up with Shiloh with a broken arm, and I don't know if Shedeur actually got hurt or if he just laughed. He seems to be okay now. Dallin Hayden's out. Travis Hunter just got physically beat up for several plays in a row. I guess he did make some business decisions, so maybe he's healthy and maybe he's fine. But it's not like this is the deepest team in the world. Usually what happens after you get physically beat up and down the field for 60 minutes, you have a tough week the next week. So Colorado's job is here to not have Nebraska beat them twice. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it gets them off the rails even further. 757. This just in: Nebraska hurts people now.
Ooh,
is this like an Ethan Raggi, North Carolina wrist breaker situation? Or are they people coming back? I don't see much of that today. Or this week. Happer's Beam Guy. He'll be the last one to jump off the prime Tanic. Joel Klatt, Stephen A. Smith, Desmond Howard. I think Klatt's close.
Yeah.
Stephen A., my guy Stephen A., he tells it how it is. Desmond Howard is just a liar, so probably him. Right?
Yeah, he'd be the one that stays longer.
That would be my answer. Chris in Montana.
Hi, Chris.
Is there any truth that Dion asked the PA to play Shedeur's song after the touchdown instead of the fight song? That seems unbelievable. Yeah, they put out a whole statement yesterday and they tried to clarify it, but it turned out that it was actually kind of true. They play.
We didn't order them to not play the anthem,
but they play songs when they score touchdowns, and then they play the fight song after that. So it's maybe not as
sensational.
Yes. But it is true.
It is true.
But it is true. Michael writes in.
Hi, Michael.
He put that program back years worse than Nebraska. When he leaves this year, you've had zero recruiting for the last 2 years. Whoever takes that job, good luck. It'll be a decade rebuild. Yeah. Yep, this was part of the deal. This is the trap that you walked in there. I mean, the hope was that he is good. They get players. And when he leaves, you are better off. Won't be the case. Mason Daniel writes in. It'll end similar to Frost in Nebraska, Blake at Oklahoma, etc. Not the alumni part, just the exciting hire that flamed out, and their fans will just kind of try to erase it from their memory down the line.
Yeah, I mean, that seems most logical.
Even though we're paying tribute to...
On this day of days, we are paying tribute to Scott Frost.
Frost got fired, and his truck was dented. One more quick thing here before we take a break. This is from Adam Schefter of ESPN. This is not regarding Colorado. Michelle, have you heard of Michelle Beisner? That is Joe Buck's wife.
Yeah.
Joe Buck's wife. She underwent surgery today. So, by the way, this is kind of new Fear Unlocked. She underwent surgery today to repair nerve damage in her fractured ankle that occurred during a freak accident in which her husband, Joe, accidentally drove a golf ball into her ankle. Quote, getting ready to roll back, Beisner Buck texted. So Joe Buck hit his wife in the ankle with a golf ball, and now it's turned out to be much more serious because she ended up having nerve damage in her fractured ankle after getting hit by her husband, Joe Buck, with a golf ball.
Wow.
Didn't know that could happen. Watch out.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot going on in that short little story.
I hope everything's okay over there.
Joe's got some questions to answer. Remember when we thought Tiger Woods just had a tiny little golf incident
okay.
at his house?
All right, Josh. Jeez.
Is Joe Buck a fiend?
By the way, Josh, how many tabs do you have open?
I have 6 tabs open. During this next commercial break, I get to close 2 of them.
Okay, so you're gonna keep the other one up.
Good.
We'll be back after this. The polls will tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone. To the polls at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We started off with this. Is producer Josh down to clown? Yeah. I think it's been proven.
Yeah, I think so.
83% say yes. Unless that involves too many tabs open on his computer, then he is not down to clown.
Not down for that.
Are
3 up right now.
Are there a lot of bookers in Aurora? Although we know of one.
Couldn't possibly be.
A lot of them, though. 51% say yes. Ooh. That's a weird result. A few more. Would you want to be friends with the CEO of Uncrustables? Yes.
Mark Smucker.
64% say yes.
Yeah.
Is everything a get-rich-quick scheme?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
75% say yes. Do you keep a tight inbox?
Bet your ass I do.
I like to read them. I don't like to have the unread marks.
Oh.
And then I delete the ones that I don't like. It's just spam or garbage. But I keep most of them. I just read them.
I don't care if they're read or unread. I just want them out of my inbox.
Like I think my inbox is wait, but like Josh, hasn't it happened occasionally where you'll delete something you weren't supposed to delete?
Yeah. There's a search function. There's a move to inbox function.
Yeah.
I can move it back if I need to.
Yeah, but then your trash can is full.
Yes.
You clean out your trash can?
It's very full. No, I don't clean out the trash can.
That's weird. Then your trash can's full. Your trash can is untidy.
It's a trash can.
Okay, good. You're not one of the weird people who likes to have their trash can clean?
No.
Okay, good. So I don't know. I don't know how you define my inbox. I would say that it's pretty tight. It's obviously not as tight as Josh's.
What is?
I'm going to say yes, because I would consider it. I see the people with the, with the notifications for 11,000 emails on their phone. I'm like, I don't know how you live.
Connor, they screenshot it and send it out in public with pride.
I know. They love it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you live. 68% say yes.
Okay.
Like a pretty tight inbox. And finally, do you need 3 Twitter tabs open?
Nope.
You probably don't. No. 82% say no. Josh, those are the polls. What are we watching tonight?
We are watching Major League Baseball on our television. The Marlins are about to lose to the Pirates on MLB Network right now.
Ouch.
Rangers Diamondbacks 240 ESPN Plus. That same time on MLB Network, you can watch the White Sox lose to the Guardians.
Could be fun.
On the south side. MLB Network, 6 o'clock. Royals Yankees is going to get blacked out, so they will send us to Braves Nationals. Why that's the second option, I don't know. And I'm a Braves fan.
Just pick a game.
MLB free game of the day could be interesting after last night. Rays and Phillies at 6:40. It is
fight.
It is a day of cultural significance. The day after Nick Castellanos was beamed, so I don't know what the odds of him hitting a home run are, but I'd say they're pretty good. And then Padres Mariners FS1 game of the night, 8:40. WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces, back-to-back champions, are in Indiana to take on the fighting Caitlin Clarks, who have won 6 of their last 7. Are they putting it all together, Connor?
So are we in the playoffs in that thing yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
1 spot up for grabs. Got about 2 weeks left.
And the Caitlin Clarks are in.
They are in.
All right.
That's 6 o'clock on NBA TV. It'll be followed by Seattle and LA out west. Season 7 of The Circle premieres on Netflix. First 4 episodes. Catfish, shady tactics, and major twists collide as a new batch of players compete for the $100,000 prize. I don't know what I just read, but season 7,
cool.
Netflix.
The Circle.
And finally, 7 o'clock on MTV. Connor, tonight is the 2024 MTV Video Music Awards.
Oh, the VMAs.
I'm going to read the description as it is given to me.
Yeah, I think I might know some people. I don't know.
Anita with 2 T's.
Don't know that person.
Benson Boone.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't care for it.
Camilla Cabello.
Definitely heard of Camilla Cabello.
Chapel Roan.
Definitely heard of Chapel Roan.
Eminem will open the show.
Definitely heard of Eminem.
Glorilla.
Never heard of Glorilla.
I've heard of Glorilla. I don't know what they do. Halsey.
Heard of Halsey.
Carol G with a K.
That's like a 50-50 maybe.
Lenny Kravitz.
Heard of Lenny Kravitz.
Lisa, all caps.
I don't know that I've heard of Lisa, all caps.
LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Raul Alejandro.
Raul?
Nope. R-A-U-W is how it was given to me.
Okay. Nope. Nope.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes. She's hot right now.
Yes.
I mean, she's every one of her songs is like, wow, this has to be the number one song right now.
Shawn Mendes.
Yep.
Video Vanguard Award recipient Katy Perry.
Yes.
And host Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. Yeah. I would go about 60% right there.
Yeah. I felt better than I thought I was going to.
Yeah. I mean, you throw in the softballs like Eminem, Lenny Kravitz, and Katy Perry, it's going to help the stats a little bit.
Ups the percentage.
I have never heard of Raul or some of those other Lisa.
It's like Cher or Madonna. Lisa.
I don't get it. I got a tweet here from Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
With a picture of his inbox. 56,556 Yahoo emails. Just delete the app, Jordan.
Yeah, just
delete the app. Just delete the app because you have the mail app on your phone.
Yeah,
that's where you're keeping it clean. Just delete the app. It's really easy. Please do it now.
Do you not like order in your life?
Just delete the app. It's great.
Connor, I'm deleting the Patrick Mahomes tab.
You are now allowed to.
I have one tab open, and I feel great.
You can close it the second this show ends.
That's right.
That's the show. If you missed anything, you can find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. It's time for the crossover next.